Hello again, everybody. Happy Saturday, and welcome to the final day of match play at the 2021 USBC Masters from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith. We've had a long couple of days to get here. We have 32 players left in the field, 16 in the winner's bracket, 16 in the elimination bracket. And to kick things off today, we're going to have both of them on the lanes. So we'll have a great mix. In total, we're actually going to have 10 of the matches available across the entire spectrum here on bowltv.com. From the channel navigations, you can select those. So we got a bunch of great matchups to take a look at. And with that, I'm going to bring in my co-host, Mr. Matt Cannizzaro, the one and only. And Matt, welcome back to the show. We're here. How crazy has this experience been so far?
Well, would you expect anything less from the best in the world at the Masters? The goal is just get to the top 64 and then figure things out from there. We've seen 700s losing. We've seen 530s winning. It's what it's all about.
And we have such a great collection of players still in the field, the top 32, a mix of young talent. Spencer Robarge, 18 years old, still in the winner's bracket. But at the same time, on the other spectrum, we have Chris Barnes, a Hall of Famer, a legend in the game who's still looking for his first Masters title. They're both in the winner's bracket still. We have past champions in the field still. Jason Belmonte and Andrew Anderson still at it. They're actually facing off this round in the elimination bracket, so one of them will be eliminated. And then Anthony Simonson, the 2016 champion, still in the winner's bracket as well. So it's such a great mix, such a great variety. Lefties, righties, two-handers, cats and dogs, everybody's here. It's such a great collection. Big testament to Nick Hoagland and this pattern, 40-foot, 30 mils of oil, so a ton of volume, but it's created such an interesting scoring pace throughout the course of these days, and especially the transition from qualifying to match play.
Well, and again, strategy is very much a key, especially in the match play part, how you attack the lane, whether you're attacking it for your benefit or perhaps the detriment of your opponent, or both. And the way the players can work together. We saw a lefty-lefty match last night, perhaps our highest scoring match. Jacob Butchoff and Michael Holloman, a rematch of the 2019 title tilt. Both gentlemen shot 700 in that match, with Holloman advancing to eliminate the defending champion. So that is a case of two left-handers potentially, obviously, playing the lanes similar or working together in a way to break them down to yield those higher scores. Many of the matches, obviously, a lefty and a righty, so it's a free-for-all. And once you get comfortable, it's off to the races. So much involved that you don't even think about as far as, especially right now, getting into a fresh pair of lanes and getting right to it. You have 15 minutes of warm-up to figure things out, to kind of develop your strategy, and then you get to it over 3 games, and you have to think ahead. How are things going to change? How are the lanes going to transition? What can I do to make this or give myself the best advantage here? It's pretty wild, all of the thought that goes into what feels like it's a 3-game match, but it's so much more.
And Matt, with that, let's go full screen here as we have a pair of matches in the winner's bracket to kick things off. AJ Johnson and Chris Barnes to your left, and then Kim Bolabai and Zeke Bate to the right. So we get to see some righties, get to see some lefties, get to see some finesse shot makers, get to see some power players. So a great mix to see how they're going to attack this pattern. Once again, these are all in the winner's bracket. So the 2 players who win these will get one step closer to earning a spot on the FS1 show. That'll be tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, top 5 advancing. And for the losers of this match, a little bit longer road. They'll head to the elimination bracket and try to make their way through that to advance to TV and hope to take down the Masters title. But let's settle in some of the other matches available here on Bowl TV. On our 45 to 48 channel, Tim Foy Jr. against Sam Cooley. That's a winner's bracket match. On 49 through 52, EJ Tackett versus Toby Sambueno, also a winner's bracket match. On 53 through 56, another winner's bracket match. Christopher Prather taking on Thomas Larson. Both of them shot a ton yesterday, so we'll see if the high scoring continues for those two players. On 57 through 60, Spencer Robarge and Mitch Hoope. Mitch made the show in 2019, and Spencer, we talked about him, the young phenom, 18 years old, looking to make his run. Winner's bracket match right there. On 61 through 64, Michael Holloman, the runner-up in 2019, taking on Ildemaro Ruiz. That is an elimination bracket match. On 65 through 68, Michael Fitzgerald and Matthew Zweig. Another elimination bracket match. Matthew rolling a 300 yesterday, just the second one of the 2021 event. And then over on our 69 to 72 channel, another pair of matches, both in the elimination bracket. Andrew Anderson against Jason Belmonte, a matchup of past champions here at the Masters. And then Jason Sterner and Dallas Leong.
Really a very balanced couple of brackets there. So much talent, a variety of experience just right here on our featured pairs. Chris Barnes, of course, a 3-time runner-up at the Masters, twice at the National Bowling Stadium, 50-plus years old, getting ready for a run potentially at the Senior Masters coming up this summer. So, a very short list of bowlers who have won both of those. Imagine doing that in the same year. Chris Barnes, very motivated to continue his success and get over the one thing that's been holding him back here. He mentioned yesterday, the Grand Slam and the Masters and all of the things that go with that. And, of course, title number 20. So he's very motivated out here. And A.J. Johnson, well, he also is a runner-up at the USBC Masters, lost to Belmo during his run of 3 consecutive. A.J., a much different player than he was back then, 6 years ago already. He is a world champion now. He is a winner on the big stage, just not as a PBA Tour title. He's proven he can do it. He's looking to get back and have another chance at it now as a member of Team USA and as an adult. He was just a kid back then. And then the left-hander Kim Bowl will be here from Thailand, kind of a steady player on the PBA Tour, looking for a breakthrough from the left side. And Zeke Bate has found success in this building. He and Aaron partied late night when Zeke won the singles title at the USBC Open Championships in dramatic fashion, but he got there. Also a record holder at the National Bowling Stadium, so he knows how to throw the strikes and looking to continue his momentum. So, again, a variety of experience and talent, left side, right side, young and old, or experienced, here on our 2 featured matches, and looking forward to the chess match, the mental chess match here that's going to take place, at least between Barnes and Johnson. And then, of course, on our other match, one lefty, one righty, free for all. Go for it.
Taking a look at these players' path here so far in the bracket. For Chris Barnes, a 626-572 win in the first round versus Maria Jose Rodriguez, and then an epic comeback against Norm Duke. What a matchup that was. Barnes down 40 or so pins heading into that last game, made a late rally of strikes, and then with an opportunity to shut out, didn't make his best shot, but caught an incredible break, tripping a 6-pin out to lock out Norm, 625 to 622 for A.J. Johnson. Cruised in round number 1, a 667 to 549 victory over David Haynes. And then A.J. catching a break in his next match against Cortez Shank, a young standout with a lot of years on Junior Team USA. Cortez opened the 10th frame, missed a single pin. A.J. ended up taking home that victory, 658 to 651. For Kim and Zeke, they're on the other side of the bracket. So the only way these players would end up facing off is if they both make it to the end of their respective sides of the bracket and face off for that number 1, number 2 seed. But for Kim, hasn't hasn't had to bowl too much to get victories, and that's, once again, part of the Masters situation. Just have to beat the person you are up against. Kim in the first round defeated Darren Tang 594 to 552, and then in a lefty-lefty matchup, defeating Michael Holloman 593 to 520 to stay undefeated. So staying right around a 200 average, just a little bit less, but has gotten the job done. For Zeke, once again, not massive scores, but it's been enough to get the job done. A 615-584 victory over Francois Lavoie in the opening round. And then he defeated Michael Fitzgerald 617 to 603.
Well, Aaron, speaking of obviously just the wackiness of what can happen, when I talked to Spencer last night about his 2 victories, how about neither one of his opponents shooting over 500? I don't know. At this level, the chances of that happening once, let alone 2 times. And the second time, it gave him an opportunity to experiment quite a bit. He was up 100 pins going into game 3 and said that was his chance to try a variety of things he hadn't tried and thought through the entire week. And that absolutely will play into his game plan today and give him some additional strategies and plans as things develop. And if something gets tricky, he's got those things. And that's, again, something at the Masters. And, if you get enough ahead, that's your chance to figure something out that's different just in case. And he's a smart kid and was able to take advantage of the miscues and look out today.
Yeah, Spencer's been incredible to watch all this week. And for us, someone we've been watching since he's been essentially 12 years old, which is crazy enough to think. But as part of, USBC helping grow a future for the sport, you look at the Junior Gold Championship program, and he was able to find success in the inaugural U12 when our second year. 2014 was the first year. In the second year of that, he ended up winning that title. He's had success on the USA Bowling National Championship, most recently with the PBA Junior Nationals. So, for 18 years old, I think you put it very nicely in your story. And folks, you can check that out on bowl.com from last night, is that potentially he's got a lot more TV experience than many of these competitors out here this week. When you really think about it, who can say they have, 4 or 5 shows under their belt? Obviously, Chris Barnes does, AJ Johnson does, but for a lot of these folks, TV experience has been limited, which is pretty crazy.
Well, Aaron, we talked to Tim Foy Jr. yesterday during his run with Belmo, and Tim recently advanced to the show at I believe the Players Championship, and took advantage of an opportunity there with Bill O'Neill unable to compete. But those matches, and Jason Sterner said the same thing. They go so fast, and no matter how prepared you are, no matter what happens during the week, it is such a different environment. The lanes transition so much differently. And before you know it, you look up at this 8 frame. So learning from those experiences certainly will help you along the way. And once you get there again, Tim said, it's a different world now that he's had that experience. And to get back, you want to fix all the things that didn't quite go right the first time. So whether it's one TV show or, for Chris Barnes, it was years of TV shows before things really seemed to click. So you just never know when that's going to happen. But you're right. To be 18 years old and to have that kind of experience already under the TV lights and to perform, it's pretty amazing. And looking forward to seeing, at this point, of our 32 competitors, I think any 5 on the TV show will be wildly entertaining.
I definitely agree with you there, Matt. And as we settle in here, game number 1. Once again, folks, bowl.com/masters, the place to be for all the information you're going to need. As we mentioned, we dropped the live scoring link in the chat. We'll drop that results page link just in case you don't have it already. But we're ready to bring in a special guest to the Bowl TV booth and the Bowl TV broadcast. So, folks, looking forward to chatting with this gentleman. Always a great time. We're going to bring him in, USBC Executive Director Chad Murphy. So, Chad, good morning. Welcome.
Can you hear me? Good morning.
We can hear you.
Thanks for having me. You
Well,
guys
thank
have been doing a great job over the last few days. Pretty awesome competition. It's been a lot of fun to watch from a distance. Who's the 18-year-old you're talking about? I didn't hear anything about 18-year-olds.
Some kid named Spencer Robar. He's the
Oh,
one with the bright pants.
yeah, that left-hander. Didn't we see him win a U12 division at Junior Gold not too long ago? Or was it U15?
No, that was U12 back in 2015.
I thought it was. I watched him compete at a Storm Youth Championships a couple weeks ago. So I enjoyed listening to you talk about Spence.
Absolutely. And Chad, as we go back to full screen here for everybody, Chad, I know in preparation for the Masters this year, obviously, uh, we were unable to have this event in 2020, and we've been moving toward getting back to bowling. It started with the PWBA and the Kickoff Classic Series on the national level in January, and for the Masters this week, obviously a lot of protocols and procedures in place to make this happen, and just a ton of work by the staff. Rob Gottschall, Greg Moore, and everybody involved, yourself, to make all this happen. Can you talk a little bit about the process in place for the players, for the safety, to make sure this great event could continue its legacy?
Yeah, well, I'd start just by doing exactly what you did. A lot of hands in the cookie jar here, if you think about it, going all the way back to when we started talking about, protocols. That's a, kind of new word that's been around forever. But, we normally talk about rules. But our folks have done just such a wonderful job. Jason Overstreet in that group, too. You mentioned Greg and Rob. There's just a lot that goes into this. We've been, working through the information that comes out of the CDC, but then also with our friends at USOPC. We get a weekly update and are involved in a lot of calls with them. And so our information is real time. But obviously, when we launched it and went to the players, it really mirrors what we did with PWBA, but no bubble. In talking with the players early on, they didn't really, warm up to the idea of the bubble. This would have been much more difficult to do a bubble here in Reno than the one we did in Arlington. And so what we tried to do was simply our best in putting together the event. I will just generally tell you how excited I am that we're holding the Masters this year in this environment. Lots of conversation about, when and how and all that went into it. But the players have been great. I think everybody can see that they have certainly accepted what we've had to do to put on this event in this environment. And you're seeing nothing but great competition come out of it, which, we're just extremely excited about.
And for everybody watching at home on Bull TV, you can actually find those procedures and protocols. They are posted on the Masters page, an 8-page document talking about what it was going to take and the rules, stipulations of making this happen. Another part of that, Chad, was the testing that went into this. So obviously that was a big part of it, making sure folks are safe to enter the event.
Yeah, and testing. If you go back, this time last year, that's all the world was talking about. And we've done our best, again, working with our friends. Our test is the same one that Major League Baseball is using. It's a PCR test. We use a lab out of Utah, and so the players come in and test, whether they be PWBA or PBA. They onboarded with their test from a medical facility at home, and then they came in 2 negative tests to get into the venue. They test here. We overnight those tests out to a lab in Utah, again, accredited through USOPC. And then, we kind of follow from there. Sadly, we had 13 folks that were impacted by our testing, 11 through direct testing and 2 through contact tracing. But I think it's another, situation where, the results of what happened, show that the process worked. And we really appreciate the players for, working with us to go through it. Lots of conversations early on with Brad Miller, who was the chair of the PBA Players Committee at the time, and then Chris Barnes stepped into that role, and we've continued that dialogue with him. And so again, the tests themselves, only show whether somebody has the virus or not, right? It doesn't show whether they're sick or whether they have symptoms. We made one call this week, and immediately, the player, knew immediately that they had it. They didn't necessarily need to go for a second test. He said, right when we had informed him, I just thought I was getting a sinus infection. And then I texted back with him the next day, and he shared that he'd lost taste and smell the next morning. And so when you think about it like that, the testing is something that we just have to do to keep the virus from spreading. It's not something that anybody wants to do, but it's something that has proven to be successful, so that we can run a 2-week window here, start Crown a Champion this Sunday, and then again next Sunday. We'll go through another round of testing in the next few days. Our PTQ for the U.S. Open testing took place yesterday. And then the players that are onboarding for the U.S. Open will come in and test on Sunday into practice on Monday. So pretty complicated, but I would tell you overall, if you think about all the hands involved, I'm just really proud of everybody, including all the players, for accepting the process. I would tell you the testing was really never, being criticized at all by the players. If there was anything, questions that were being had, it was mostly about the mask usage. And so we just really appreciate their support through the process and giving us an opportunity to run.
Chad, thank you for the further deep dive into that topic. And as you mentioned, heading into the U.S. Open, it has its own separate set of procedures and protocols for athlete and staff safety. And, I thought it was, you guys took it to, it just wasn't, just the testing. It was even on site, and we could see it here on Bull TV with the way the qualifying worked throughout the Masters with, pairs being used and then not used, the National Bowling Stadium staff going in there, helping make sure things are sanitized and clean. It really was a great team effort that we got to see it to ensure the safety.
Yeah, and just the entire, step one to the finish, there's just so much to it. I mean, you guys know, I've been coming to the stadium since '95 when it opened for the FIQ, the then FIQ at the time. This every other pair thing is interesting. The fresh pairs within the competition, all of these things really do impact the competition. But we tried to do it in a way that would, yes, keep everybody safe, including players and staff, but also allow the players to do what they do best, which is go out and compete and make us all proud.
We're joined by USBC Executive Director Chad Murphy as we wrap up Game 1 here in this 3-game total pinfall match. We're watching winners bracket matches at the moment. Zeke Bate with that strike's going to be in the books with 204. For Kim a chance to get to 190 here if he's able to strike out. Chris Barnes with the first strike in the 10th can max out 225 for A.J. Johnson. His counterpart, 219, the max score. Chad, what do you think about this Chris Barnes guy and this nice little run he's made so far here at the Masters?
Well, I've been watching Chris for a long time. Obviously, he's an exceptional player and used to ball rep for him at one period of time. So with what's on the lane here, Nick Hoagland and his Magic Pencil has delivered a competition this week that really has been the ultimate test. And so no surprise, I did think it was unfortunate that Chris and Norm bowled so early on, because you think about those guys, they're likely to bowl 600 plus. No surprise that match came down to the last shot, but Chris was pretty impressive to watch in that last 5 frames of that match to secure the victory. And I think it's always good. Chris has still got some things he wants to achieve. I think you guys, talked about that a little bit at the end of the session there yesterday. And don't be surprised if he does it. Don't be surprised at all. Norm Duke proved a couple years ago that someone of that age could still win on this tour. I know Walter and Pete stepped down, which is somewhat sad for those of us that have been watching them for so long. While at the same time, we'll sift to the senior tour. But Chris is still an incredible athlete, but one of the most amazing things about Chris is he's one of the toughest competitors you'll ever meet. And so while this is an event that's left off his resume, it suits him. So you put together the pattern, the scoring pace, his competitiveness, and I guess no surprise that he would do well.
Chad, you mentioned scoring pace and something we've been looking at and documenting throughout the event, especially throughout qualifying with just where the scoring went. Obviously, the cut was minus 51 to make it. Definitely one of the toughest Masters we've been able to witness. Can you remember Masters quite like this that challenged the players that much?
One word answer there. No. Back when, even in the old days, if you will, you knew 40 to 60 over, would get you in most Masters. And there's certainly been a few that the scores were a little lower than that. The event we had a couple years ago, we had so much, good conversation with the players afterwards about the scoring pace. And so, Nick did a nice job of modifying this one off of that. When we had made that shift to, bring the scores down a little bit. But the great thing about these guys is somebody's always striking. Chris's match this morning against AJ is a perfect example. I mean, AJ's had good ball reaction all the way through, but interesting, he led the block, and then the next day he struggled, and then, now in match play he's looked good again. It just is, they're so difficult. If you get it up the lane a little bit, if it wants to hook, if Nick puts up these, kind of roadblocks at the end of the pattern, so you can't just, get too loose with it. But even EJ's been fun to watch going into today as well, in that he's doing what he does well, but just a little tighter angle. But no, I don't remember one that low for such a quality field. It's just amazing. I think you guys will be able to think of it this way. But what was it, day 3 at the U.S. Open last year when they were just so impossible?
I believe so. Yes,
Yeah.
That was something. That was something else as well.
Those guys were just beat. If you watched them at the end of the day, well, they've been doing that every day here, because that's basically, it's not the same pattern, but it's the same intent and thinking. Looking for the best bowler, challenging them. The person that holds this trophy up at the end of the week will certainly be deserving of the word champion.
Yes, I'm sure some fond memories from the folks who competed at the U.S. Open last year. Taking a look at that scoring sheet, only 2 players able to get to plus 100 on that pattern. Bill O'Neill and, no shocker here, Norm Duke. And then taking a look around, there were a lot of scores for those 8-game blocks in the 15s and 14s with the best players in the world. So, that was a fun one to watch. It was probably more fun to watch than it was to actually bowl on, but that's why these guys are the best, and we're back here.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. But, when Nick designs these patterns, it's always, is there one place to play, 2 places to play? Is there 3 places to play? And we've kind of always done that with the Masters. But even within that, that 1 or 2 or 3, really this week, I think there's 2 places to play, maybe not 3. There is a 3rd place, but it's really even harder. But even within that, the shot making that's necessary is a pretty tight window. And so while there's 2 places to play, you can't get too loose with it in either one. And that's, that's causing some frustration.
A little bit of frustration there for AJ as he kicks off game 2. He has a 4-pin advantage against Chris Barnes, 219 to 215 in our other featured match. Zeke Bate up 204 to 188 against Kim Bullaby.
The match I was really kind of looking forward to this morning was Mr. Simonson and Svensson. And that one, looks like it's gotten away from Anthony a little bit. Just to, as with the Masters, the history, the draw, so important. when you think about a direct path to the show, that those 4 winners bracket matches, it's interesting how the left and right has played out in the bracket this week as well, which has been, kind of intriguing to watch, because I know a lot of folks point that out when we come to this venue. But at the same time, it's going to be a great show tomorrow.
That Svensson-Simonson matchup. Jesper 246 in the opener, Anthony 200.
The other thing about these Masters matches that always amazes me, 40 or 50 pins with, 4 frames to go turns into somebody having to make a shot at the end. It's like there's some magic in that of some kind, and really it's been that way forever, which makes it a fun event to watch, compete in, and be around too.
Jason Thomas certainly has let us know throughout the course of the week it's his favorite tournament by far, and we got to see that just in the excitement from our match with Jason Belmonte to kick things off against Tim Foy. We mentioned Chris Barnes' comeback against Norm Duke. Just those moments we had, a little bit later in the day, Norm Duke needing a double in the 10th to keep his tournament hopes alive, and absolutely pure to shot posted at 4-pin, though, eliminated Norm from run at his second career Masters title. And the best part about all this is that it's early in Reno right now. We're going to be doing this all day. This is going to be great for bowling fans. As we get closer and closer in a couple of rounds, we will know at least 2 players on the show, and then we'll slowly work our way to that always fun 4-player, 3 get-in match at the end of the elimination bracket.
Yeah, I share with you one of these crazy perspectives, but that Belmo-Tim Foy match was on the in pair, the high end of the house. And with, I think they were in the 6th frame. And, in the venue, you just, I'm making a little bit of a joke. You just kind of wander around, and you just end up with the matches that are close, right? And so I had written that match off and had moved down to the other end of the building and just followed, down and had watched, 2 very close matches on the other end. And then we broke and they ran the lanes. And I come back for the next round right before it starts, and I see Tim practicing. And that's when I learned that Tim won that match. And then I went back and watched the video of the finish. I think Lucas posted it at Flow. And I was just thinking, my gosh, I'm not I got to get focused back in how I would watch it from home. And so what you guys do is an important part of this too. The Bowl TV, all of these cameras on all of these pairs, and everybody running around trying to catch the action. Even in venue, there's stuff that we're missing that you guys have a camera on. So thanks for doing it.
And Chad, thank you again for all that's been done to make this happen for the fans and for the players, and get us back to a place where we can compete again. And with that said, I know you mentioned that you've been, a lifelong bowling fan. You used to ball rep for Chris Barnes and the likes, and so you've seen these events and this event in various capacities. Do you have a favorite Masters moment over the years? We've all had a chance to kind of share some of the standout moments from either as when we were fans or in our times with USBC. But is there anything that just absolutely is unforgettable for you from this event?
My perspective there will be something personal. And so I appreciate the question. I was in the pit when Brian Bogosian won the Masters, and that was a lot of fun. Bakes made, I think, that same show. We had some success here that was, a lot of fun with our brand at that time. But my story, Jason Queen was fun to watch. Ken Johnson was fun to watch. But my best Masters memory will come from something personal. I was coaching and teaching at home a young man. His name's Jason Duran. And he made the show here, and he bowled Chris Barnes, who's, been a longtime friend of mine, on the show. I want to say it was in Albuquerque, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But JD actually, beat Chris in that first match. And it was just a lot of fun to watch them compete. Chris was somebody that we all idolized, and JD was this up and coming, person. But as happens in so many Masters matches, whether they're on TV or here, the migration of the pattern is so important. And so we had laid out a pretty good plan for JD, and he just executed it in an amazing fashion. And really, it's how they jump from right to left. Usually the guy that's a little bit further left and the guy is a little bit further right has an advantage, and then they hopscotch each other until the end of the match. And Chris came over to me after the match, and he says, he got left of me just one extra time. And it's just amazing how those things happen. But that would probably be my own, personal memory. Just two guys from that, bowled league together in a local community, bowling in a national telecast in one of the biggest stages. And so that was certainly fun. I have a picture in my office of Rick Steelsmith holding a Masters trophy. Obviously, Rick is somebody who I adore for a lot of reasons. And that was professional, but a lot of good ones. When Mike Miller bowled 300 here, it's just one of those events that there are just too many to pick one out. I bowled the tournament in Knoxville years ago. Tita Semez beat me, I think, 817 to 780, which that's one I always like to forget. But when you think about the Masters, it's hard not to think about the competition. But there's just so many. But I appreciate the question, Matt.
Absolutely. Great insight there. And I think you'd agree, too, that based on the format, it's not about domination necessarily. We talked about, the strategy and the luck of the draw and all the things. And over the years, we've had the chance to see a lot of players, maybe who were unknown even at the time, step into those big moments and find success. You just have to make the top 64, and then anything really can happen, whether professional, non-professional, whether it's been your career or a youngster. Young players like Patrick Allen and DJ Archer just coming out of college and as 18 or 19-year-olds like Spencer Robards going up against some of the greats on this big stage. And certainly, especially with the 3-game format, and there's so much excitement and so many possibilities. And the opportunity, you mentioned Rick Steelsmith, a breakout performance for him before he really got going in his career. So it's just, if you look back at the history, it's pretty phenomenal. The names on that list of top 4s and top 5s at this event, and what many of them have gone on to accomplish.
Oh, and it's, you're hitting the nail on the head, Matt. Some of it's the format. It's actually playing right here in front of us with EJ and Toby. EJ's, down 64, looks like going into the last game, but you wouldn't normally think that, Toby would be as competitive as he is in this, but all of these guys know how to bowl, whether they're bowling at home or on this tour. The best bowlers, the best professionals in the world, of course, are on this tour. But then when you get it down to mano a mano in a 3-game match on one pair, how you break down the pair and where it migrates to. But there's just so many good bowlers, and then you have great bowlers, and then you have, Hall of Fame bowlers. But this has been the ultimate equalizer in this format over the years, and it's why it sells out every year, right? I mean, this thing sold out for 7 or 8, maybe 9 years in a row at 300 plus bowlers, because this is the format that I think everybody feels like there's good competition in. And I would always, one of my, not to go back to another memory, but Steve Fair is a legendary bowler in our space. But some of the things that happen in these matches would just shake your head, that you just can't believe. But Steve Fair, one of the most competitive bowlers, and again, he's a great bowler, but just a competitor. He just competes. And so he's bowling a match against Rick Steelsmith, after Rick had now gone out on tour and was winning titles. And I've never seen two guys want to win more as close of friends as they were too. And so that's the other piece of it too. But the folks who tend to want to compete really enjoy this event.
Someone really enjoying this event right now is Francois Lavoie, who, if he can throw a couple more strikes in the 10th here, will be making the turn at 523. So the 3-time major winner, trying to keep his tournament hopes alive. But even if he makes that turn, that match still not Still not settled. Nick Crummel, 470 at the turn.
Yeah, Nick. I watched Nick bowl early yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, that's the best reaction in the building. And he and Sam Cooley tied that match, I believe, and there was a 1-ball roll off, and then he's just been lights out, but not a great draw, obviously, if you look at scores on given pairs. There's some good ones. I think, did I just see Sam's got the front 7 down on 45 and 46? Or excuse me, that's right in front of us. I'm looking down here at my phone, watching it electronically.
Yeah, Sam off to a hot start. Yeah, for Nick, tough draws. So he snuck out his first match, 677 to 675, and then lost to Thomas Larson with 679. Thomas put up 703.
Yeah, and that was another, Thomas needs a spare in the 10th there. It's just, these matches are just so, heartbreaking, so words you could use too. Because you look around, 6-10's winning the match next to you because of the way they broke down the pair. But the guy you're bowling has got 90 over after 2. And so there's a mental challenge with that, right? There's just, hey, I got to focus back here. I got to get zeroed in on what's going on right here in front of me.
Francois did finish that game out, so 523 to 470 advantage way down on lanes 3 and 4. Sam with 8 going to be stepping up for number 9 here shortly. Chris Vi had started off with the front 6, but he left a 9 count in frame number 7.
Barnes and AJ now looks like, about 20 pins apart. Jesper holding on to a pretty strong advantage there, extending another 20 pins. AJ Chapman getting the best of Stuart Williams right now. Battle of the And anybody that's watching, if you want to see how it happens, I'll be, I direct you to 49 and 50 with EJ and Toby. Toby's just got him, almost dead to rights now with 6 frames to go. And let's see what happens, whether EJ's going to make a run here.
Chad, we talked about the back and forth nature of these matches. Tim Foy was up by 51 after game 1, plus 45. Sam Cooley was at -6. And Tim now potentially looking to be, if he's able to throw a double in the 10th here, high 180s, 190. Sam, front 9. And I think we're going to go ahead and make the switch there as Sam looks to cap off the third 300 game of the 2021 event.
Yeah, and in this world, right, you think about that, 300 games so far from the best in the world on a competitive environment. That's a pretty low number, obviously. But so much of this is, pattern migration and how things, happen throughout a match. Don't be surprised if we get to the 5th frame of the next game and Tim's back lined up, and we'll see what happens to Sam, because he's likely have to move off that spot. Change your angle, lose your carry is one of the things that we used to talk about a lot. And could you stay ahead of it? And so that's something interesting to watch in this match. Matt, if you don't mind, because I'm interested to turn that question around on you. What's your Masters memory? You guys, I know you guys spend a lot of time interviewing other people, but you've been watching the action for a long time too.
Yeah, we tried to narrow it down, and it's just so hard. I mean, there's so many great venues and great things and matches that have happened over the years, and immediately I go back to Miller Park and some of those amazing venues that we've had, just to look around and do what we do and be down in the middle of it. Certainly pretty amazing. To see Sean Rash win there, to see Mike Scroggins win at the arena as well. Really inspired by Doug Kent in 2006, winning for the second time, first title coming in 1991. He was just absolutely dominant in that event. So I don't know that I really can narrow it down. I had my own Masters experience once, was not fortunate enough to bowl well, but certainly would have loved to be in match play. But I think just some of the timeless big shots and big moments, I have to make a list, to be honest. There's been so many for me from this regard, and just seeing the variety of talent make the shows, and I think going back to 2011, the title match when Tom Hess was a little riled up, right? Maybe a little bit too soon.
Oh yeah.
And Jack Jurek, being the sportsman that he is, stepping up and helping him relax in the moment and finish it off, knowing that it was pretty much in hand. I think the sportsmanship of it just gets you going a little bit in a different kind of way.
Yeah, and I remember just that was just Jack being consistent in how he's lived his life, as we all know him to be. Right? It's just that was an amazing moment.
Sam Cooley looking to make it 11 in a row here. Oh. Takes care of business, gets the 10 out.
Aaron, I almost spoiled that one. I was looking at the live scoring, and I was about to jump in with that. And here comes another potential amazing moment, and I'm glad I did not, because obviously the scoring just a few seconds ahead. So I'll let you have this spotlight for the call.
.194 in the opener. Was down 51 pins. We are going to switch it around so quickly here.
I'm not going to give it away like Jason Thomas always does.
We'll have to wait and find out all together here on Bowl TV, folks. Sam Cooley going for 300. Just going to have to lay off. 3-pin. 299. So great run there from Sam, fresh off his first PBA Tour title. But I think he's going to be happy about having the 62-pin lead now after being down 51 in the opener, plus 93 to plus 31, heading into Game 3. JT, welcome.
I've been listening to your Masters Memories conversation. I've got to throw mine in because it's actually a funny one. So it was at this venue, 2010. Chris Barnes was down 54 pins to Wes Malott going into Game 3. And Wes Malott was the player of the year before. Barnes was the player of the year before that. So it was the last two players of the year, the two best players on tour. And Barnes shoots 300 the last game to pull out the win and get the 1 seed. He ended up going on to lose. But the funniest thing about that story is every time I tell it, Wes Malott corrects me and says that didn't happen. He said it was Walter Ray. And so it's funny. I've told the story like 3 times, and Wes has corrected me 3 times. And so I don't know if it's just like something he doesn't want to remember. or
Which that would be a reasonable position to take.
Exactly. But that was my unforgettable moment that Wes Malott can't remember.
Yeah, and some of this too, when you think about all these, because there really are story after story after story, and you think about Jason Belmonte's run in a more contemporary, space. We haven't had that big amateur run that was so popular in this tournament for a long time. So there's a few of them out here that will be interesting to watch throughout the day. But I remember it was Ashwaubenon, I think, in the top 4 match. And Dom Barrett just needs a mark to eliminate Jason Belmonte in big 4s. and then Jason goes on to make the show, run the ladder, win the tournament. And you just think about all of those things that have to happen for somebody to win the Masters, right? You have to perform at this, incredible level across this number of days, but you also have to have some things happen that are somewhat out of your control. You put yourself into position, but just like that, Sam could have quit in that match. He was down pretty heavily, and now he's got a 62-pin lead. He created that by putting himself in position to do that, and that's just the nuances of these matches. And there's 4 of those things going on right now inside this building across all of these pairs.
And before I take my leave, the thing that's most amazing to me is that Chris Barnes has never won one of these tournaments. He's finished second a couple times, but if you look at when Chris was at his peak, it was during the era on the PBA Tour when there were elimination matches to make it to the TV show, and he was the best at bowling head-to-head matches by far. And so the fact that he's never won this tournament is shocking.
Yeah, it is. And you go look at all the folks that have won it, the names that are in there, and who's, you don't like to do that, but who's missing. And, one of the first names will certainly be Chris. But obviously trying to turn that around today and tomorrow. Another match that's going on right now for anybody watching, Chris Prather has had one of the best reactions in the building over the last, day and a half. And he's on the verge of moving over into the other bracket. Thomas Larson, who won that roll-off with Nick yesterday and has just bowled tremendously. Looks like the juggernaut there.
Thomas Larson, one of the players Tim Mack mentioned to you don't want to catch in match play this week, and it's proven to be the case so far.
Shot maker
indeed. Yes,
how I would describe Thomas.
Jesper Svensson up big against Anthony Simonson with 1 to go. Jesper making the turn at 482, Anthony at 396.
Somebody help me with the score. JT, you're right there in front of it. But remember a few minutes ago, I talked about a 62-pin lead with EJ and Toby. Toby's opened twice since. EJ's got 2 doubles. So, 20-pin match with the 10th?
Yeah, it's going to come back. It's going to come down to the 10th, which you just said. With 4 frames to go, how many matches? 40 pins, and it somehow magically comes down to the 10th frame. So Tony, best he can shoot now here this game is 185, and that would put him at plus 33 for the match. Each attack it can go off the sheet 238, and that would put him just a little short.
So Toby just needs a spare here? Is that what we're saying?
Correct.
And I know everybody watching is checking the brackets. But there's a place you don't want to be today, and it's the other side. The thing is absolutely loaded.
Well, we didn't talk about count there, Chad, and with that short count, EJ Tackett's going to, no matter what happens, he's going to be able to steal this match.
I was reading off the names that were on the other side of the bracket. Names like Kyle Troop and Jason Belmonte. Let's see if he comes up with the spare, which he does.
Oh, you just did it. You did a Jason Thomas.
Oh, my gosh. I sure did. I will criticize you no more from my, I'm watching and listening at home, and I see you do that, and I'm like,
what an idiot!
I wish you'd stop doing that under my breath, but it's hard not to.
So strike here gives him 172. That would put him at plus 20. EJ Tackett can shoot 238, which would put him at plus 22.
So a double and 9 for the win, depending on the count here from Toby. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Uh-oh. So now just a double. A double and 6 pins.
Are you guys spoiling it again?
We just did it again, didn't we? And you know what I did there? Did you see what I did there, Aaron and Matt? I said we when it was actually me.
I agreed with you.
All right, I'll let you guys call this 10th frame with DJ so I don't mess it up again. That's funny.
169, the final tally. .617, double and 6. EJ, the runner-up here in 2014. To Jason Belmonte. Looking to stay in the winner's bracket. Toby Sambueno. Sorry, knocked off Bill O'Neill and Wes Malott. Can he add one more? How about that right there? EJ getting on the big wheel right there. Once again, the scenario here, EJ Tackett needs the strike, otherwise Toby Sambueno will win the match and move on to the top 8. EJ, big double, 6 pins now.
Just another Masters example.
That's so crazy.
Well, was it dead to rights you said earlier?
That's what, it's just amazing. I mean, he basically had him, just finished off and then just couldn't get to the finish line. Oh, and 7. Oh, I just did it again. And, not to, again, for anybody watching, check out Sam Cooley now. 11 strikes in a row, 299. Little change in angle. He opens up through 5 frames. He has 2 opens in the next game. It's just the nature of these matches. Will Tim be able to go on a run? I see Barnes and AJ are likely to be the last pair done in this round, 12 pins apart going into the last game. And so that one looks like it's going to go down to the wire.
Yep, 430 to 418 in that matchup. Zeke Bate up 387 to 358 against Kim Bowleby. Thomas Larson has wrapped up the win against Chris Prather. Francois Lavoie finishing with 758 in a victory against Nick Krummel. So Krummel eliminated. Francois moves on to the next round.
Another name over on the I apologize. Are we calling that what are we calling that bracket? Contenders bracket? What do we call it?
Elimination bracket.
Elimination bracket.
I think both are good. I like both.
We can't use the other one. Is that what one we've used for years? That's a no-no?
Yes.
Okay, I won't go there.
It's technically accurate, but
yes, I agree.
Yeah, Spencer with a big triple. He had certainly been struggling. Opened the last game with 2 opens. Has followed up with a triple now to get his lead back with Mitch. That's a really tight match too. We got it going all over the building.
We wouldn't have it any other way here at the Masters.
Huge shot for Tim Foy right here coming up. Huge. I don't know if you guys have been down there yet, but I do want to take a second and just thank our friends at the PBA. They came in last night, set up the TV set down there. We're really looking forward to the show tomorrow. 2 Eastern, is that right, JT? 2 Eastern tomorrow?
Yes.
Masters on FS1. A lot of folks would be amazed if you were in the venue all week to see, how a venue like this gets transformed into a TV set. But appreciate all those folks coming in and getting us ready for tomorrow.
Another match wrapping up in the elimination bracket. Jason Belmonte is going to continue on. He has defeated Andrew Anderson. So we are down to, I believe, just 2 past Masters champions. Yep, 2 left in the field. Belmonte and Anthony Simonson.
Both in the elimination bracket. So a long road, but one that's been taken before.
I think it's been pretty amazing all week how, coming into this event, a lot of folks saying that, Jason Belmonte's not the same. He's not bowling well. He's struggling. He almost threw away a chance to make the cut in qualifying at the end there after bowling a fantastic game just to give himself a chance. Then he had that open frame in the 10th frame of the last game to lose to Tim Foy. And so, we've been, I don't know if it's been so much us, but a lot of folks out there have been, declaring him dead for a long time this week. And here he is still alive. Going into the second round of the day on the last day.
I remember when they said that about Walter Ray at one point in time. And I remember when they said that about Pete at one point in time. I think a lot of folks, sometimes we forget that what Belmo has done is just incredible, but he is still bowling against the best bowlers in the world. And so, excuse me, he set the expectation so high, right? I mean, it's just incredible what we expect of him. And it's a credit to him because of that. But at the same time, I watched him bowl last night. He looks like he's sticking the landing. He looks like he's, in a space where he could certainly make a run today. And I think he's really looking forward to the U.S. Open next week and trying to complete, be the first player to complete the Super Slam a second time, which would just be amazing. But I just make that point, JT, because I know you've been watching it they really are the best bowlers in the world. And so you really do have to be at the tip top of your game if you're going to win one of these tournaments.
Yeah, what did you think of Jason saying that career goal of his is to win 20 majors before he retires?
I think it's good to have goals. I think if you in anything you do, I'm a big goal setter. I believe in it. I would equate that somewhat to, these guys need things to motivate them as well. No one better to do that than Tiger Woods, early on saying that he was going to, get to that 18 number of Jack Nicklaus. And at the end of the day, if he were to get 20, we'd all be, amazed by that. But 19 would look pretty good, I think. 18 would be well accepted. Where he's at here now is pretty incredible, but it wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, I would go back to, imagine what that would look like 25 or 30 years from now. And when we look back and think about it, because it just is an amazing feat, what he's done and what he continues to do. And I do, just say this. Is he bowling his best right now? I'm not sure. But at the same time, I know there isn't anybody out here that wants to draw him. And so that says something, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. What's interesting to me is that, he's broken the record, and we saw in tennis, a couple of decades back, Pete Sampras break the record, and then Roger Federer came along and demolished that record, and then because we thought nobody would ever touch Sampras, now Sampras is way behind Federer, and now there's a couple of guys that are pushing Federer. So I'm wondering if maybe what his thinking is, these young guys like Simonson, who's still got, another 30 years left.
Yeah.
I need to set this record so high that these guys can't possibly think of beating it.
Yeah. And I would, just generally, I try not to say things that get me in trouble unless I'm, trying to. But Simonson is the one for me that he's got all the gifts. But in addition to the gifts, he works at it, man, and he has honed his crafts. Most versatile, is that a word that you want to be? I think it is. I would put Norm and Chris Barnes in those categories in the past, and Anthony's going to be fun to watch for a long time, and I think Jason might do well to pick up a few more, because if you think about how many times Anthony's been in that spot just in the last few years that he didn't get the job done, he will. There's a process of learning to that as well. And in that same example, he was trying to beat Jason Belmonte in a couple of those, which is no small feat. But yeah, I mean, I thought John McEnroe was the best. So your analogy is a good one.
Hey guys, we got a potentially winning match moment here between Zeke Bate and Kim Bowleby. One more strike and 9, and Zeke locks this up.
Oh, the light mixer.
Zeke is,
go ahead, Aaron.
he's been the ultimate grinder so far, winning with 6-0 and 6-15 in his first 2 matches. Finding ways to win, Zeke Bate.
I was going to say something very similar where, he kind of figured out, hey, I just need to kind of tread water here. And he bowled a block the other day that was pretty remarkable. First 4 games were in the 2-0s, and then he finished with 250 for a nice little 80 over block. But
Zeke's another one of those guys. He just competes. He doesn't give it away. If you're willing to give him a chance to beat you, he will. Just put himself in a position to do it.
Great shot there. Yeah.
Give him the heater, Ricky.
Mr. Barnes is trying to put himself into a more commanding position. Triple second, third, and fourth against an open with AJ. He's back in the lead with 4 frames to go.
A few matches in the books from the elimination bracket. Kyle Troop, 647 to 573 win over Cortez Schenk. Nathan Bohr continuing on, defeating Brandon Novak, 655 to 631. Chris Vi, 627 to 613 ahead of Zach Tackett. In the winners bracket, official Svensson, 682, Simonson, 574. AJ Chapman's going to have a chance to step up in the 10th frame and win against Stu Williams. Stu in the books at 600. It looks like any type of mark for AJ, he's going to be good. Sam Cooley, 699 to 625 victory. Elimination bracket match, Michael Fitzgerald, 668 to 607 win against Matthew Zweig. We mentioned Belmonte, 642 to 559 over Andrew Anderson.
If you're watching the AJ match, Aaron, I can't see. Have they seen what he's got left? Can you see what he's left needing a spare yet?
in frame 7?
He's in the 10th, right? AJ Chapman.
Oh, Chapman. I cannot see it. That is one of the pairs we don't have covered at the moment.
Oh, I see. He needs to spare the 2-8.
2-8. Okay.
Which, if I got it mathed out right, which would be a little bit like sparing what, the 210 right now. Again, just no gimme.
Spencer Robarge is going to move on to the top 8. He has done enough to surpass Mitch Hoope. And we're going to have EJ Tackett join us in just a moment here.
Just to let everybody know, AJ hit the right side of the 2-pin around the 8.
Oh, goodness.
To lose that match by 4 pins to Stu Williams. Stu Williams advances. Looked good, too. Looked good from here. Pretty amazing.
600 to 594 there. A couple frames left in our Barnes and Johnson match. AJ was up at 12 to start. Chris checking the approaches. But let's bring in EJ Tackett to talk about his recent win here over Toby Sambueno. So EJ, hello again and congratulations. You're continuing on in the winners bracket here at the Masters.
Yeah, I don't know if continuing on is the right words to use after that match, but I'm still here. That was a rough match. I threw some really bad shots in the first game and a half. Really let Toby control the match, really. He ran into some trouble there at the end, and I was finally able to get in the spot of the lane where I felt like I could hit the pocket more than one time in a row, and was able to throw some good shots, throw a double there in the 8th and 9th, and really make Toby think about what he was doing. And unfortunately for him, he didn't come up with the correct stuff there in the 9th and 10th. But moments like that are kind of moments that we live for as professionals. You're way down and you get an opportunity, and being able to capitalize on that opportunity gives yourself a lot of confidence. So even though I didn't bowl well, just being able to finish that game off when I had the opportunity to win and be able to do it is going to really help me mentally moving forward.
EJ, help the folks out there understand when you're going through that match, right? And, I sat here and watched most of it because it was right in front of me here. But you were completely sideways at the end of the second game, right? I mean, down, but also sideways. I always try to explain to people the level of intensity and focus that has to take place for you guys to maintain an environment like this. But help somebody understand how your ball reaction wasn't what you wanted to be, but you're working through it mentally while at the same time just being completely sideways and behind to turning it around.
Yeah. Had Toby gone into that last game and maybe I know he started spare, but had he maybe thrown a double or a turkey after that, at that point you're almost mentally like, I'm done. I'm down too many pins. But he went spare, strike, open, I think is what he did. And when he opened, I was like, okay, well, if I can keep putting some strikes together and keep applying pressure, maybe I have a chance. But, after that second game, I honestly felt like I couldn't miss anymore. I was down so many pins, and after he bowled 250 game 2, you're thinking his ball reaction is like really, really good. So you don't expect him to bowl 160 the next game, especially staying on the same pair you just bowled 250 on. So, I definitely thought that I didn't have many misses that I could have that game. I missed about 2 times more than I thought I could.
Yeah, shaker 10 there in the 7th, and then following it up with a double. Just again, I think the nature of these matches, the way the patterns migrate, you're moving, adjusting. So is he. That was just, to me, was a typical Masters match where somebody down 40 or 50 is still in it, where in some cases it would be over.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things, and I know Toby's a good bowler. He made it through Wes and Bill already and made the cut here this week. So, it could be one of those things. I know Toby's done a lot of bowling in his life and his career, but some experience does give yourself an advantage, at a certain point. And the game that Toby bowled, it just looked like he got a little bit nervous, being able to, win another match. And he threw some bad shots where, maybe a more experienced player might have, played it a little safer and maybe just trying to get 9. When you have such a large lead, you got to apply the pressure to your opponent by not giving open frames.
Can you, to that point right there, do you mind if can you relate to that at some point in your early career? Like at some point in time, Toby said there, hey, I got EJ Tackett here. I got him. And he didn't get him. Was there a point in your career early on where maybe you were bowling one of these matches and you had somebody in that kind of same situation, you felt the same thing he did? Or was it always just gas pedal to the floor with you?
I honestly don't remember. I have a really short memory.
No worries.
I'm sure probably somewhere along the way I was able to do, maybe not in this event or maybe, in a PBA match play or something where I was way down and was able to just run through a few guys and maybe make the show or whatever it have be. I know I've done something along those lines in my career, but
I think the way you explained the experience factor there was just so key, because that's a learned trait too, right? It's not something that just
Absolutely.
happens. You got to go through the process, but
yeah, and there's no switch. You can just, like, I'm out here, it's there. It's years of doing it over and over and over and over again, and being in the situations and learning. I think the biggest thing for me personally has been learning how my body reacts in the situation and what adjustments I need to make for myself because of, the energy you have, the nervousness. Like how do you use that in a positive way instead of letting it affect the next shot? So that was the biggest thing that I had to learn personally. And that's why early on in my career, I didn't bowl that well on TV. And now, I didn't really stop getting nervous. I just learned how to use it in a positive way.
Oh, thanks for saying that, because it's adrenaline, right? You're closing
absolutely.
in on what's pumping in your body,
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it right there. I mean, I basically had kind of shared with these guys that I thought that match was going to turn around, but it took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. But real credit, congratulations.
Thank you.
EJ, before we let you go, and Chris Barnes is 2 marks away from wrapping up this win against AJ Johnson. You got Jesper Svensson next. So your first 3 matches, and Barnes does not make the 6-10. What's it going to be like having the whole right side to yourself in this tough matchup against Jesper?
It's gonna be different. I think my game plan has been pretty good so far. Every match that I've bowled, my opponent has not bowled that well the last game. So what I've been doing has been pretty good. So my game plan might have to alter slightly because of myself being on the side of the lane by myself and Jesper on the left. So I have to talk to Brett and maybe do a little re-strategy. I don't think it's going to be much different than what I've been doing, but we might have to change it up just slightly to give myself the best opportunity.
All right, folks. EJ Tackett moving on in the winner's bracket, taking on Jesper Svensson next.
Let me ask EJ one more. Hey, do you follow Brett on Twitter?
Yeah.
How much fun is that?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Anybody out there that's not following Brett on Twitter, go take a look. That is some very entertaining stuff.
He's the meme king for sure.
I was telling him yesterday, he's a lot of fun. I apologize for getting in there, but I just wanted to give Brett some props. But great bowling, EJ.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, EJ.
Yep.
Good luck, man.
All right, folks. Here is the scenario now. Chris Barnes, with the conversion, can get to 203, which would put him at plus 21. If AJ Johnson throws all 3 in the 10th, he'd be at 194 this game. That would put him at plus 26. So AJ has not thrown a strike since frame 3. But if he can find a double here in the 10th and good count, he's going to have the opportunity after an uncharacteristic miscue in the 9th from Chris Barnes.
Aaron, did you guys see that? Did he chop the 6 off the 10? Is that what happened?
He actually only got he missed the 6 pin.
Oh, no kidding. He hit the 10.
Left the 6-pin standing there, so he is at plus 21.
AJ's up on the approach now. Do we have this on video or no?
We are on it right now. Yep.
Okay, good.
But don't let us know what happens too quickly again.
All right, yeah, good catch. I was getting ready to say it.
Needs a double.
I'll let you call it.
Got to get one to get two, however. Oh, 4-9. Goodness. He had 4 pinned on that lane last time up. Keeping his angles pretty tight there and does not collect the hit. Chris Barnes is going to make it to the top 8. Undefeated here at the Masters. AJ Johnson, his road's going to be a little bit longer if he wants to return to TV. A few other matches finishing up. Jason Sterner is going to eliminate Dallas Leong. Michael Holloman is going to continue his run to see if he can make it back to TV. The runner-up in 2019 eliminated Ildemaro Ruiz 566 to 551. And I think that is the end of our competition here for this round. So based off the schedule, this is going to be one of our quicker breaks, 20 minutes till the next round as we wrap things up here.
Aaron, JT's going to get Mr. Barnes in here for just a minute.
All righty.
Before we go, I want to ask him a couple questions about something that we just saw.
All right, we'll get ready for that. We'll once again recap the folks moving on in the winners bracket. Spencer Robarge, the 18-year-old phenom, will be taking on Zeke Bate. They'll be on lanes 47 and 48. EJ Taggett, we just chatted with him, is going to be taking on Jesper Svensson. That matchup on 55 and 56. Chris Barnes with the win is going to head to 59 and 60 to take on Sam Cooley. And then Stuart Williams, Beef Stew, moving on to face Thomas Larson. A crazy finish there. And it looks like we have the whole show here, perhaps.
We do. And
So
go ahead and bring him in, and then I want to go ahead.
All right, here we have it. The Beef and Barnesy show in the top 8 here at the Masters winners bracket. Congratulations, guys. Talk about some interesting finishes for both of you. Chris, we'll start with you.
I basically threw a 3-bagger and 2, 3, and 4 of all 3 games, and those are my only doubles in all 3 games. And then I bowled in it, just grinded the rest of the way, and then I missed a spare and left an opening, and I got pretty fortunate that AJ didn't take advantage.
Yeah, Stu, congratulations. We've been sitting here talking for about an hour with JT and everybody on just about these matches and how they just seem to pace each other. You know, Chris, AJ's had one of the best reactions in the building over the last day and a half, and obviously, you know, your score is so similar. But then, Stu, your match comes down to a 2-8, and Chris the 6-10 in the 9th. It's just kind of amazing. I mean, just tell us what's going on. Did you think AJ made that spare? Because it looked like it was close.
I didn't watch.
Oh, you didn't even see it?
I saw it bounce off, but I wasn't behind it. So I think going across lane with the urethanes is always pretty difficult because there's so much carry down.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a weird match, me and AJ, because the first game I bowled so bad, and I was so lucky to only have one open. Then the second game, like the match was almost over, and then AJ opens the 9th and the 10th.
Yeah.
And then I threw it great in the 8th, 9th. I threw what I thought was a really good shot in the 10th, and I ring 10. And I'm like, okay, I'm only 25 down. And then like AJ had like 5 or 6 frames where he just bowled awful. Like, and then he got a bunch of breaks to make the spares, but he was due because of how lucky I was early on. And then I really had the good ball reaction. He rolled the 2, and then the very next shot on that lane, I stone 8. And I'm like, maybe it's just not my time. But it kind of made up for it late on in the match where I got those 2 roll 2s.
Chris, can you hear Stu?
I can.
So you've been watching these matches, bowling these matches forever. It was just such a Masters match. And so when you hear him talking about it, and your and AJ's match was the same way, there were actually 4 of them, 5 of them going on right here at the same time that were just like that. What is it about this format, the 3 games that just ensures that almost every time?
Well, I think because you're on the same pair with that person and you're only focused on that person versus a score, sometimes you kind of self-diagnose low or high to match instead of just. I had way better reaction that match than I've had at any point and ended up shooting exactly the same score. I couldn't put much together. And it was kind of the opposite where Duke kind of had way better reaction than me last night and just kind of kept letting me hang around. And basically I did the same thing for AJ. I gave him a chance where really probably shouldn't have had any. But I think a lot of it's just because you're only focused on your opponent and not everybody's wired like Tiger to just win by 100 every time.
Right. And I think there's something to be said for that. Stu, where do you go from here? What's next?
I'm going to go and try and destroy Thomas Larson's ball reaction because I can't shoot 700 and he can. So maybe I can stop him shooting 700.
He's been one of the most consistent players so far in the match play. Yeah, he's been doing pretty amazing in the tie. And then, so you'll be playing with the pair a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what else am I going to do? So I might not win, but I'm going to drag him down with me. Anyway, I've got to get running because we've only got a few more minutes before our matches start.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Chris,
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And good luck.
Good luck, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. There we go. We are all set. So we're going to have about a 20-minute break until the next round. So big thanks to Stu and Chris for joining us. EJ Tackett as well. We are getting closer and closer. 8 players left in the winners bracket. And we got another 16 coming up next here in the elimination side of it as well. We're getting closer and closer to that top 5 for tomorrow's FS1 TV show, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 local time there at the NBS in Reno, Nevada. Chad, we'll start with you. What, just so much excitement around the NBS there. Great matches all around. What are you looking forward to this next match?
Oh, just more of the same. Honestly, I'm just excited that we're running after, not being able to operate the Masters last year. A lot of fun for our staff, all the bowlers, just looking forward to it. Obviously, kind of excited to have Spencer, making his way through it. Just a loaded elimination bracket with only, a couple spots there. But just, looking forward to some more great competition. Thanks for having me and have a great rest of the way.
We certainly will. And thank you again for everything as well. And we will be sure to talk to you soon, but we'll go ahead and let you sign off for right now, Chad.
All right, guys. Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
All right, Matt, we got about 20 minutes. This winner's bracket's got a great mix of players, styles, a little bit of everything. For you, what are you looking forward to next?
I love the diversity, as you said, a great mix, youth experience, lefty, righty, international, a little bit of everything. And of course, so much drama. The closer we get, the more exciting it gets. So I think with each round, the excitement builds and the anticipation, and I can't wait to see who steps up when it really matters.
All right, everybody. We are going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to leave the cameras rolling. We got about 15 minutes. I guess that goes 15, 20. You usually start with the lower number first. So right now, looking at the time, it's 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So I would say by 1:45 to 1:50, practice will be underway, and then into the matches, 15 minutes of warm-up for these competitors for this next round. So everybody hang tight. We're going to make sure all the cameras are good to go. Once again, a big thanks to USBC Executive Director Chad Murphy for joining us here on the broadcast throughout the show, talking about the protocols and procedures, the testing in place this week for athlete and staff safety. And of course, reliving a lot of great moments and enjoying a lot of great matches along the way. So for Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, our guests who joined from the event, EJ, Chris and Stu, Matt Cannizzaro, I'm Aaron Smith. We'll see you in just a couple minutes, folks. Don't go too far. We're continuing here at the USBC Masters.
This is your 2 minutes remaining in warm-up. Players, please hold up on the warm-up. Warm-up is now over. Insiders are beginning to sign them off. All right, as soon as the scoreboards come up, you get a fresh set of 10 pins on the deck. You may begin your competition. Good luck and good scoring.
As we hear the pins recycle at the National Bowling Stadium, it means competition is getting ready to resume. The next round of the double elimination match play bracket officially underway here at the 2021 USBC Masters. My name is Aaron Smith with Bowl TV and USBC Communications, joined today by Matt Cannizzaro, Jason Thomas, Mike Flanagan, and potentially a few other guests along the way. We got another round of matches here before we'll take a little break. So 3 games, total pinfall will determine who is moving on to the next round. In front of us here on lanes 55 and 56, a marquee matchup of Jesper Svensson and EJ Tackett. We got an opportunity to talk with EJ after his win against Toby Sambueno, pulled out a late double in the 10th to sneak by 2 pins. And this is the first match EJ has had against a left-hander. So he said he was going to talk it up with ball rep Brett Spengler. Could potentially see the strategy change up a little bit, having the right side all to himself. Taking a look at the other matches currently available on our Bold TV channels. Moving from left to right in the channel navigation. On our lanes 39 to 42 channel, we have Jason Belmonte taking on AJ Chapman. That is an elimination bracket match. That's a split screen one as well. The other matchup also from the elimination bracket, Michael Fitzgerald taking on Tim Foy Jr. On our 45 through 48 channel, winners bracket match, Spencer Robarge, the 18-year-old phenom, taking on Zeke Bate. On our 49 to 52 channel, another winners bracket match, Thomas Larson taking on Stu Williams. We talked to Stu, and he said he's going to have to find a way to slow Thomas down because he has been shooting nothing but lights out so far. As we mentioned on our 53 to 56, you're watching that right now here on our main commentary channel, EJ Tackett versus Jesper Svensson, winners bracket match. On our 57 to 60 channel, our final winners bracket match, Chris Barnes against Sam Cooley. Continuing on, 61 to 64 is Kim Bolabai and Chris Vai. That's an elimination match. On the 65 to 68 channel, Mitch Hoope against Kyle Troop. A matchup of excellent hair all around. Elimination bracket match. And then over on our final channel, lane 69 to 72, another split screen matchup. Anthony Simonson against Nathan Bohr and Francois Lavoie against Toby Sambueno. All from the elimination bracket. And I do have a report, Nathan Bohr is wearing the Nathan Bohr shirt today, with millions and millions of tiny Nathan Bohr heads on the jersey. Two additional matches going on in the elimination bracket that unfortunately we do not have cameras on at the moment. Michael Holloman taking on AJ Johnson, and Chris Prather taking on Jason Sterner. And after the conclusion of this round, we will have a re-oil, so we'll take a quick break. And from here until the end of the day, we will have every match available as the field continues to grow smaller and smaller. After our first round earlier today, obviously a very short turnaround to this next round. And for all the folks who are in the winner's bracket who lost in those matchups, they're right back at it. Yesterday, if you lost a match, you had the opportunity to take some time, think about changes, maybe make some adjustments. But for the competitors who failed to win, they're put right back into the fire here and have to quickly regroup. Matt Cannizzaro, for you, how do you rebound from something like that, especially with as close as some of those matches were? AJ Johnson having a chance to double to win, AJ Chapman, opening the 10th frame, Toby Sambueno letting a few frames get away from him. How do you shake that off and put forth your best effort in that next match so you don't find yourself going home?
Well, I really think at this point in the event, at this point in the week, and at this level, these guys are able to put that aside for the most part. Most of the ones mentioned, they've been there before in those situations. And it's almost better, I think, to just get right back to it. It doesn't give you time to sit and stew in it too much to see what went wrong and get the thoughts. It was careless mistakes for the most part, or just some unfortunate breaks. But I think the best thing, right, just get right back to it, and you're warm and you're in a good place, obviously, to be in that situation to begin with. So the less time you have to worry about it, there's no tightening up, and you're jumping right back in, and that's for me, that's the best case scenario. And we'll see. For some, it's extra motivation even at the same time, but you have to learn from those mistakes and just don't do what you did again, right? It's pretty simple, right? If it was all that easy, we'd probably all be superstars, but
I agree. I think the 15-minute practice time that they have prior to this match also helps with that, and just getting back into the flow of things. Obviously, if it was right into the action, probably a little bit tougher, but a chance to take a few minutes, potentially blow off some steam, shake your head once or twice, and get ready for the next match.
But the good news is, Aaron, it's a much shorter trip, right? Once you've made it through day one in the winner's bracket, it's a much shorter road to get back there. And of course, nobody wants to be in that situation, but at least in the double elimination format, there's still that opportunity, and still far less games than if it would have happened a day sooner.
We're in game number 1 of 3. Total pinfall match. Currently watching Jesper Svensson and EJ Tackett from the winner's bracket. Their paths to this matchup for EJ. A 680 to 579 victory over Kyle Troop. He then defeated Brian Robinson 648 to 609. Then, as we mentioned, a tight victory, 2 pins, 619 to 617 over Toby Sambueno, which included a double in the 10th frame of Game 3 to secure the win. For Jesper Svensson, he started the day off with a 597 to 5, or the tournament bracket, I should say, 597 to 556 victory over Zach Tackett. He then defeated 2018 champion Andrew Anderson 620 to 609 before knocking off 2016 champion Anthony Simonson this past round 682 to 574. Ring 7 pin there for Jesper Svensson. With the conversion, he can still get to 202 this game. EJ Tackett, a max at 224. So an opportunity for EJ to build an early lead here. And with that, we're going to bring in a few special guests from the Bull TV studio. It's been with us all week, Jason Thomas. So JT, welcome back to the mix.
I thought you said special guests.
Well, we're getting to that. But we had to get you in first.
Yeah. Thank you.
But also joining us now, a gentleman who has made so many great things happen in the sport of bowling with everything going on with PBA. So let's welcome in Mr. Tom Clark to the show as well. Tom, welcome to Bowl TV, and thanks for joining us here this week. And thank you for all the great things that have been going on with the PBA Tour.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for all the work you guys are doing. I've been watching every second of it, and it's always great to be in Reno, that's for sure. I haven't been back here since 2017, which shocked me. I mean, I used to come probably 3 or 4 times a year for about more than 10 years, and then and also we had some very long stays here. Sometimes we were here for kind of like this stop where you have 2 events back to back 2 weeks, but it's been a while, and I missed it, and you love the stadium, and I love the area, and it just so happens to be the best weather probably in the world, on the planet right now. It's just 70 degrees and sunny and perfect. So, but and I really like the new stadium design and the way it feels in here, and so a great tournament, that's for sure. I just, the only bad thing is we don't have fans, and hopefully soon we can get the fans back in here, because there were so many moments over the last few days where you could just almost hear the fans echoing, when Norm would make a big shot, or when Barnes came back, and when Belmo got into that close match and Tim Foy struck out. I mean, there would have been just masses of people around those pairs and going crazy, and I can't wait for that.
So Tom, what would you say would be your moment of the week so far here at the Masters?
Well, I think that you have to. I think you have to start the story. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you have to start the story with the stadium. I think you with Spencer Robards right now, and the fact that he's undefeated. Looks like he's having a tough start to this match, but to see a kid that has so much promise and so much behind him, not only have a great qualifying and make it in qualifying, but people say, "Wow, he's the real deal." Match. So I don't know if that's a moment, but that's to me, that's the lead.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and we talked to him yesterday after his latest match win, and we asked him about Jillian Martin, who he competes with quite a bit, and asked, hey, did that kind of inspire you to go out there and beat up against the best bowlers in the world? And he said, yeah, I kind of did.
Well, I think these guys are lucky that Jillian Martins didn't bowl this week.
Yeah.
She'd probably be still out there too. But no, I really got excited yesterday about the Norm Duke Chris Barnes match, because the longer that I'm in this game and we're all around this stuff, the more you recognize that you might never see these things again. And seeing a Norm Duke and a Chris Barnes match has been one of the highlights of being around bowling, and I just knew that match was going to be awesome. I was actually on a plane getting here when I found out they were matched up. And as soon as I got off the plane, I came straight here to go watch that match. And Barnes put on a huge comeback, and Norm, when he lost, you could see the disappointment, and he just sat in his chair and stared straight ahead for an extended amount of time, and you could tell that he knew how big that match was too. And coming off the news recently of Pete Weber and Walter Ray pulling back from the national tour, and you recognize that these guys have shelf lives, and it's amazing in bowling how the greats can hang on now longer than ever before. But how many more times do we get to see Norm? And I hope to see Parker Bone again too soon. And you just don't want to miss those chances to watch them compete at the highest level. So that was a big highlight for me too, to watch that match. There couldn't be a winner and a loser that would make me happy in that match. It was just one.
Yeah, you mentioned Parker Bone, and the news came out earlier this week that we lost his mom to COVID. You talked a little bit about COVID and how we're all looking forward to getting back to it, but sometimes we forget all the things that it's taken away from us. And I know a lot of people out in the bowling community are offering their support to Parker and his family at this time.
Yeah, it's definitely a very confusing time that I don't know that anyone has figured out. We're living through something that's hopefully they can all figure it all out years down the road and know what we're doing. It's just crazy, and you just don't know how to act. But things like Parker's mom, remind you that you have to take every precaution that you can, and obviously that's happening here. And it's great that the USBC and the PBA have been able to keep bowling going, and also in a lot of different states. Like where I live in Wisconsin, there's just been a constant tournament atmosphere for months, and I'm lucky to live there when places like Michigan and Illinois and California and New York aren't able to bowl as much. But you always have to be careful every time you do anything, So it's and Parker's, we all, I don't know, Jason probably like me. I mean, growing up, you watch Parker Bone on a show and you'd see his mom in the crowd, and it was almost like I don't know, it felt right. I was always looking for her, and you almost think about your own parents watching you when you bowl. And now that I'm a parent, and now that I have a kid that bowls, now I know that feeling. And she was one of the like the all-time greats, parents in bowling. And obviously Parker's one of the great ambassadors and great people in the history of the PBA and all of bowling. And and that's largely because of her. And now her grandkids, Justin and Brandon, and their granddaughter, they are all going to be around this game for a long time. They're awesome players and awesome people. So yeah, that was sad.
You talked about your son.
Yeah,
he's going to college. He's going to be bowling in college. I know he's a two-hander. What do you think about all that?
Oh, it's been the most amazing thing. And actually, I've been texting with him all day because he's bowling a tournament in Wisconsin today, and it's an adult tournament. There's like Chad Kloss, who you guys remember. He's bowling in the tournament. I think Chad Kloss had a few good masters, if I remember right. But
yeah.
But Rory shot. It's on a sport condition, and he's like 150 over through 4, and he's in the top 5, and it's really amazing watching how when a kid really immerses themselves in a game, how they can become better and better. He got so much better so fast. It's been amazing to watch. It's nerve-wracking, and I wish he was here. I wish he would have bowled the Masters. If we knew a little bit sooner, if we could get in, I would have had him in here. I can't wait till next year. He'll definitely bowl the Masters. And
where's he going to school?
He's going to Wisconsin Whitewater, which is actually they're ranked number 2 in the country, and he's going in with an incredible freshman class as well. His good friend Nate Purchase, who a lot of people saw on the PBA Junior show, who lost to Spencer Robarge actually in the PBA Junior National Final, is going to be Rory's roommate. And boy, they're going to come in there and join a team that's already stocked. And I really look forward to watching that. It's close enough to home where I can get to as many tournaments as possible. I haven't the first tournament this year that I missed that Rory bowled, he bowled 300 and won the tournament. So
yeah,
and I kind of felt like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go. And then luckily last week he won a Wisconsin Youth Bowlers Tour event, and I was there the whole time. And I even told him which ball to use a few times.
He listened to you?
He listened. I didn't screw him up. One time he corrected me, and he went back to an original ball, and it worked. So, yeah, being a ball rep is tough. It's a tough business, especially when it's somebody you live with.
Well, speaking of young bowlers, let's get a look over at the Spencer Robarge Zeke Bate match. It's just starting off game number 2, and Spencer with a 25-pin lead after 1.
Yeah, it's so interesting, the conditions this week. You really cannot predict what's going to happen. You look up at scoreboards and you go, well, I mean, look, EJ Tech had started off real bad this game. He's been whacking them. They change so fast. We know the pairs are all just have their own characteristics, so that's always going to be in play. But remember, I thought there was a great insight on Bowl TV earlier this week when Norm Duke said that he expected the scoring to really go up during match play because guys are going to stay on the same pair for 3 games. They're going to get settled in, and of course, it's just the best players and that have survived this far. But I don't know about you guys, but I haven't seen that happen. I mean, it's still
not to us. We saw Chris Prather shoot a big set yesterday, shot 770, but I look over to my left and he's in the losers bracket now. So, which doesn't mean he didn't bowl a great set this morning. It just means he lost. But did I call it the losers bracket?
Yeah.
Did I just do that?
I was listening to your boss on Bowl TV earlier today, and he seems to lean towards wanting to call it the losers bracket.
Yeah.
He's more old school. I kind of like the elimination bracket. I don't like the challengers bracket. I like the elimination bracket.
I think we've gotten a good happy medium there.
That's
but
right.
Unfortunately, now I'm going to get letters from losers all around the country berating me for being insensitive.
Well, it was a losers bracket for about 50 years, wasn't it?
It was. Yes. Yes. Cancel me.
Oh, this is but this event is, and it's made for live streaming. I mean, match play is the best thing, and double elimination is great. There was a time that I actually was, considering a format that we would use often on the PBA Tour that would be double elimination match play, because it's every time you're at the Masters, you say, hey, this is great, so why not do it every week?
Yeah. No, we talked about it a little bit on the last round, where there was a period on tour where, best of 7 matches or best of 5 matches were commonplace in determining who made it to the shows. And obviously that's a little bit of a different format than this, because this is total pins for 3 games. But, there is something to the excitement of win or go home.
Absolutely. And it's almost too much in bowling, the winner go home, when it's single elimination. There's almost too many variables that can make it feel unfair, just catching the wrong person at the wrong time, or and at least with double elimination, you feel like you have that second chance to overcome a really bad break. And so that's why I like double elimination. But of course, I do wish we could, in a perfect world, we could play it all the way down and have a true championship match. And there was a 3-game match, and somebody out of the losers bracket have to. There, I said it too. Losers bracket have to out of the elimination bracket have to win twice, to beat the champion. And I think you do that in the senior masters, don't we? Don't we do that in senior masters? Or did we?
Yeah, that's correct.
Every year at the Queens and the Masters, I have several players come up to me and complain about how they would probably have a Queens or Masters title if only that rule were in place.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible to do TV when it's double elimination. First of all, so to come on the air with a live show and not know if you're going to need 1 match or 2 matches, and those matches take over an hour, to compete, that makes it hard to manage television. So, you fall back on what's worked for 60 years, a step ladder final, and make it kind of a shootout on TV. And we've seen what's happened through the years where, like AJ Johnson, I was just watching him bowl Barnes, and think about his 2015 run, and he was undefeated, but lost 1 game on TV and lost the title. Things like that can happen, but it makes for exciting television, and excitement is probably the most important thing in professional sports. So, you can't argue with what we do, but it would be nice to see one play out real.
All right, everybody, we have some score updates here through game number 1 in this round. We'll just move from the low end of the house to the high end of the house. So AJ Chapman up 5 pins, 200 to 195 against Jason Belmonte. That's an elimination bracket match. Michael Holloman, 246 to 203 ahead of AJ Johnson, also on the elimination side. Tim Foy Jr., 189 to 183. He's ahead of Michael Fitzgerald, also in the elimination bracket. And then Jason Sterner, 201. Chris Prather, 173, also an elimination bracket match. Moving to the winners bracket matches. Spencer Robars, 195 to 170 ahead of Zeke Bate. We're watching that right now. We heard Stu Williams say he was going to try to mess up Thomas Larson's line, and it didn't work so well in game number 1. 258 to 223 advantage Thomas Larson. And he's striking a little bit here in game number 2 as well. Front 5 before a spare in the 6th for Thomas. EJ Tackett up 214 to 191 against Jesper Svensson. Sam Cooley up 225 to 196 against Chris Barnes. And then back to the elimination bracket match is a good one. Kim Bolabai, 237 to 234 lead on Chris Vi. Kyle Troop, 236 to 221 lead on Mitch Hoope. Anthony Simonson, 227. Nathan Bohr, 179. And then Toby Sambueno, 198. Francois Lavoie, 188 after 1.
That sounds good. I'll tell you, Thomas Larson is a dangerous player. Where he's he's kind of playing where Norm Duke was too, just dead straight off the corner. And when he gets going like that, he's unbelievable. Do you remember the match he had at the World Series against Pete Weber?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not on TV. It was like a best of 5.
Yeah.
And it was unbelievable. I mean, I think he averaged 279 or something, and he needed to. to beat Pete. And I've seen him go on runs like that, and he looks like he's on one right now.
Yeah,
he works hard on his game. I mean, he can do some things that nobody else can do. So now he sees it. Now he's got to take advantage of it. That's a whole other thing. Taking advantage of moments is something that usually experience is the key there, and he's got enough bowling all over the world. I mean, when you put your whole life into a game like this, you put a lot of pressure on yourself from the first ball of most tournaments that you bowl, when you spend as much and give as much of your time to the game. So even if he hasn't bowled, on TV for major championships, he's bowled for his life, and so he will never shy away from big moments. That's for sure.
Yeah, speaking of Thomas Larson, let's get a look at this match here with Stu Williams. Stu hanging in there. Looks like Stu playing pretty much right on top of him. And Stu's got a great game going, but Thomas Larson, possible 277.
Yep, following up at 258. I've seen, I tell you, we're all big fans of the Beef and Barnesy show. Every time I look up, I see Stu and Chris Barnes walking around together. It's like the Beef and Barnesy show all over the place. And they have a little show for themselves half the time. And they're both, it seems like they're game planning and it's working.
It's like the Odd Couple.
Yeah.
So it looks like Stu's going with the urethane, just a little left of Thomas Larson, which is going to give Thomas Larson some hold. Not that he needs any more help.
Thomas Larson, he can't wait to get up and bowl right now.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're striking like that, you just want to go as fast as you can.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of, the experienced guys use some gamesmanship this week. You miss seeing that in match play, slowing things down if someone's got something going. A re-rack at the right place. I knew my son was watching too much Flow Bowling and Bull TV when, number one, he came back after one frame and said to me, "I know how to clear dead wood because of Flow Bowling." and he has this whole He has this whole thing. He hits the reset button. He goes up, uses one hand, 2 fingers, rolls it into the gutter, knocks it out. And then when he was bowling in the championship match of his tour event, I didn't even know if he was breathing because I was so nervous watching from behind. And he needed a mark to force his opponent to get the first 2 in the 10th. So he made the 10 pin. And then before his fill ball, he took a re-rack.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man, you're watching too much TV. I couldn't believe he even had the presence of mind to do that.
That's it. That's what some people might call a Duke move.
That's exactly right. I guess it worked. I mean, but actually, the kid got up and he stoned 8. I felt bad for him.
Wow. That's adding insult to injury. So Thomas Larson finally missed. Good shot. Shaker 7. Can shoot 256 with this spare and a strike. Stu Williams can still shoot 238. So he would be able to still be in range, but down about 50.
So we'll end up with, one European for sure, or even though Stu lives in Texas now, but that will have a great chance to make the show. I see that Jesper, is still alive against EJ Tackett. So Jesper is another one, and then Sam Cooley, he's on fire. I think he's under the radar right now at the Masters. He's coming off his first PBA title. he's been over in the U.S. bowling every day and bowling great, and his ball's just hitting with pop. I mean, and I think Sam Cooley is somebody that's going to surprise some people. I'm not sure if he's ahead against Barnes or not, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him go through. So you have 4 international players that are undefeated so far.
I'm not sure if you guys caught that after Thomas threw his fill ball there to finish with 252. He made a ball change, and Stu ran up there to go grab the ball that he's been striking with so much to run away with it. And then he put it back on the rack.
He made a great decision. Great move, Tom. That's funny. Well, I bet you Stu's having a pretty good time too, because we haven't seen him competing for titles a lot lately on the national side. So getting in this position, he's and he looks really good too. He looks like he's been on a fitness program. Stu looks really good.
His exact words were, "I look less bad."
Just being self-deprecating.
Yes,
He looks great.
Yes. What do you think the issue has been with Stu recently?
Well, he's been saying that he just doesn't feel like he's been matching up with our oil patterns. And I tend to believe these guys when they tell you things like that. And there's probably something to have to do with that. I think that Stu seems, through the years watching him, he's one of these guys where when you get the feeling that he's comfortable, you feel like he could just strike forever. And if he never finds that comfort, then he just kind of struggles, because he's a big game shooter. I mean, he throws big games. If he's not throwing any big games, because he can't get any long strings going, it takes him out of his comfort zone. And so, sometimes it's just true and you're not matching up for whatever reason, your ball roll. But then if you keep telling yourself that, it's hard to get out of that slump too. Then that's when the mental game comes in. And so he probably, knowing Stu, he walks into this event and says, all right, we're not using PBA oil. We're not using PBA lane conditions. So maybe I've got a new lease on life here. I'm sure he said something like that. For the most part, you see the same people doing well that always do, because they're just great. And Stu's a champion. So
one of the things I like about Spencer Robarge's game is his spare shooting technique. It's very unique in that he kind of has the Norm Duke end over end slight backup ball style, which you really don't see a lot of two-handers doing on their spares. But he also kind of reduces his rev rate too, and that's another thing. Like Belmo, for example, he's still his. I wish I had Belmo's rev rate on when he shoots a 10 pin. Right, it's still probably up there in the 450 to 500 range. Throws the plastic ball, and he very rarely makes a mistake. But Spencer has a completely different way of shooting spares.
You know who else does that is E.J. Tackett. He kills that shot and throws what looks like a backup ball almost at 10 pins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. You know who has the most unique spare shooting relative to Spencer Robarge is Nate, the kid that he beat for the PBA Junior. Nate has a spare ball that has no holes in it. He throws the ball by just palming the ball. It's I've never seen that, and I even went down and checked and there's a ball in the rack and 0 holes in the ball.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah,
so like when he gets tired of it, he can just go sell it like a new ball.
And it's actually his teen masters ball that he uses for spares.
Okay.
That's skill ball.
Yeah.
However you can, that's kind of what I tell Rory, my son, just whatever it is, just hit the pin.
Hit the one in front, right?
Hit the spare. It's just however you want to do it. I always tell him, no one will ever tell you how to bowl or what to do. differently or correctly if your score is always higher than theirs.
Well, they tried to do that for Jason Belmonte for years, and
When he was a kid, yeah.
I think they've given up now.
And and Belmo always had the right answer, which was, why would I change if I'm beating you?
Right.
Couple quick score updates through two. As we were watching, Thomas Larson up 5-10 to 448 against Stu Williams. Another winners bracket matchup, pretty close. Jesper Svensson up 383 to 375 against EJ Tackett. Kim Bolabai up 5 against Chris Vi, 440 to 435. And Kyle Troop, who, for a minute there looked like he was going to be out of this tournament, has continued to find ways to win in the elimination bracket. And he is up by 40 pins, 463 to 423 against Mitch Hoope.
Wow. Does this building shake more than it used to?
It's really just this part here on the.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I feel it shaking like a small earthquake every once in a while.
Yeah, if you go down in the bowlers area, you can't feel anything.
Yeah, that's interesting that Kyle Troop is still fighting and still alive. I think he's another one that's, believe it or not, under the radar. He's the most visible player we have, and he's kind of under the radar this week because he started so bad. He started way down, and he's still alive. I mean, he's the leader in PBA Tour points. This is a huge event for points as well, and as the U.S. Open is, because it'll determine the top 16 players that'll make the playoffs this year. And the playoffs has a $100,000 first place prize, and it'll be a series on FS1 ending on Big Fox on May 16th, Sunday, May 16th with the live final, and you want to get in that top 16 because that's a single elimination bracketed competition, and anybody can win. Chris Prather, we remember when he won at Bayside Bowl, and then last year Bill O'Neill won it. You want to be in that top 16. The other thing that's at stake this week is a spot in the PBA Super Slam special show. And that's going to be on April 18th live on Big Fox, and have $1 million bonus for a 300 in the championship match. And that's going to be $100,000 first place prize. So if you win the Masters, you win $30,000 for the Masters, but you're automatically into the Super Slam where you got a shot at 100, and the other spots all pay well as well. So there's a lot riding on things, and nowadays on the PBA Tour, the points lists are always so important, not just for the guys on top going after those big prizes, but the guys who are in the middle who want to be able to be considered for future PBA league teams or drafts, or or be on a priority list to be able to enter tournaments due to their points. So guys are always bowling for more than even just what's right in front of them at these events.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit this week with Kyle, where if he had missed that cut, which he barely made by the skin of his teeth, he'd let a lot of players in to the Player of the Year race, including Tom Doherty, who's pretty close to him in points and didn't bowl this week or the U.S. Open as well. He won't be competing next week. So the fact that he was able to survive and now is going deeper and deeper into the field, he's just racking up points to give himself a bigger cushion in that race.
Yeah. Well, it's a pretty fun. It's a pretty nice way to start your year, winning $250,000. It'll loosen up the arm swing a little bit. Although I can tell watching him, he has the same intensity regardless in every match that he bowls, every game he bowls.
Yeah, it was fun watching him come down the stretch in qualifying the last couple of games, and he did not have a great ball reaction, and he was able to find a way to get himself across the finish line and get in the house with enough pins to squeak into the match play. And the longer he goes and they don't eliminate him, the more he's going to figure out, and the more dangerous he's going to get.
speaking of crazy pants, Spencer Robarge, this shot right here, he's up, is real big to take a pretty commanding lead, and it looks pretty good. And look at it. He has a certain Rhino Page. Watch sometimes when he follows through, he reaches for the sky and he keeps reaching for the sky. I always remember Rhino does that. It's kind of similar. And the way he walks back after good shots like he just did,
Yeah,
that's kind of Rhino Page too.
it was kind of eerie.
Yeah, he looked just like him.
Yeah,
he has I've noticed that for a while. I don't know if it's on purpose or if he just watched him a lot, but it's very similar.
There are some photos, some photos of Spencer kind of getting to the line and getting to see him pop up a little bit.
Yeah.
And you basically see him on the on just the top of his slide foot, sticking at the line, but heel all the way up. It's a pretty unique style and has obviously worked for him.
The heel up thing. See that that's Rhino Page, that follow through. But the heel up and get on the toes thing reminds me of Simo once in a while, not every time, but Simonson hits the line like that sometimes when he's really getting into a shot and he gets up on his tippy toes. I tell you, the guy I'd like to bowl like forever is Chris Prather. I mean, have you ever seen anything more perfect than that?
No, it's pretty outstanding.
He does come very close to the foul line, though. Did you guys see when we had to call a foul on him at the World Series?
Yeah,
on TV, and he comes very close because he's very close. He's so perfect on everything that he gets like to that exact spot at the foul line. But I was always worried that one day he'd foul in a key situation.
and it happened. And
it happened.
It was always amazing to me to watch, players who were able to slide about an inch short of the foul line and just do it every time, because you are not looking at where you're sliding,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are, you're not going to bowl very well.
But his head, his position of his head, and his swing, and he seems like he has a perfect game, but then when the situations call for it, he has his B game and his C game and his D game, and his loft game is incredible. He has everything. He has everything, and he's thought it. He's thought it through too. He's thought through. I need this game. I need to be able to do this at this time. I need to be able to do this, and some of it's instinct, but. Man, when he came back at that World Series match, who was he? He was down by a ton, or he had like 54 in the fifth in that shootout round, and it looked like he was going to be out. And he what people didn't see was we had a commercial break, and he went to the restroom, and nobody wanted to be in there with him. Not because he was using the facilities, because he was loud and he got all over himself in there, and he got it all out of his system, and and then he was yelling, and I could hear him, and he came back down, and he was calm, and he struck out from the fifth frame on, and forced a roll off with Michael Tang and beat him and advanced, and. Even the greats and people with that kind of command of their game, you got to reset sometimes, and they have the ability to do that. Sometimes it's by yelling at yourself.
I think Prather might have done that after game at number 173 to 201. He was down to Jason Sterner, but he's going to be in the 240s this game and essentially even the match up heading into the final frame. Still waiting to see the fill ball here, but 2-pin difference, 424, 422 advantage Sterner.
That'll be interesting to watch. I think Sterner was on that show, wasn't he? I think he was. No, maybe not. But yeah, they both did well at the World Series. But that'll be a hell of a game 3 to watch. between Sterner and Prather. Sterner's another one who's tried every single thing and has every game for every situation and has practiced them all many times. So he's the same in that he he's a little bit different actually from Prather in that Prather finally got his chances on TV. He I don't know, he turned into a TV player pretty quickly. He lost a couple times, but then he turned into a different mindset. And I think Sterner's still looking for that. Once he has that killer instinct at the final moments of a tournament, that'll be the next tool, I think. I don't know if you've noticed that, Jason.
Well, yeah, TV is so interesting. It's just a different. It's like they talk about the Masters being two different tournaments, but TV is a completely different thing. I always tell the ladies on the PWBA tour, because TV is frustrating, and so sometimes you need to be a psychiatrist to somebody who's had a tough loss. And the thing I always say is, Walter Ray and Earl Anthony, they're the two best bowlers ever. And if you look at their record in title matches over the course of their career, both of their careers, they are 50-50.
Yep.
And so if the two greatest bowlers of all time are 50-50 on TV, that's about what you can expect to be in your career. And so you just have to go out, do your best, try to make some fans, win or lose, smile, be a good sport, and give it your best. And, you'll come out ahead. But TV is just so difficult to predict because it's just a one-game match. And at that level, there's really no way to differentiate the skill level between one player and another.
Yeah, I've learned to. I've had the privilege really to be able to watch so many television shows up close and for so long, and I can recognize the players who are actually able to slow that game down on TV and make you feel like you're watching like an entire tournament almost, and it's a unique skill, but they're able to make decisions and moves. Where one frame ends up feeling like a block of games or something, and you can see where a comeback can be made in a frame, and sometimes it's just based on a mindset and a decision making and how someone controls that arena, and you have to have experience to do that, but I've noticed it more and more lately. You'll notice it a lot during the PBA playoffs. It's a little bit different than a stepladder. Stepladder is its own different beast, but when you have a playoff situation on TV and it's a single elimination, and both players come in with no advantage, having been on pair or not been on the pair, it's just a one-on-one game. They're able to slow that down, and it becomes like a tournament within a tournament. And not just this, what you usually hear from players is, oh, it's so fast. And before I knew it, the game was over. And I can't remember what happened. And that's the natural inclination. But when you look at the guys who would make the playoffs and they have that experience and then that format, it does create a different dynamic on TV. And it's not even for a title necessarily, at that point. And it's interesting. The last playoffs I really noticed it a lot. And I also notice without fans that there's different skill sets that come to the fore on television. Like this week, there won't be any fans here at the stadium. And so you can't play off the fans. You can't be distracted by the fans. You can't let the fact that you need your family here and where they're sitting bother you. You can't let someone else that's rooting for the other player bother you. You have a whole different approach. And I've noticed how that's helped some people and made some people's first times on TV easier. And I think it's because of that, because of the lack of fans this year.
So we're on 55 and 56 right now, and Jesper Svensson, a 9th frame, game 3. No problem on the spare. He's going to step up in the 10th frame with a chance to double to move on in the winner's bracket and send EJ Tackett to the elimination side of things. However, the T word is out there. Tie possibilities. If Jesper were to go strike spare here in the 10th, EJ could throw all 3 to tie, and if Jesper does not get a strike on the first shot here, EJ will have a chance to step up in the 10th and win.
That'll be fun to watch. Jesper has had a lot of success in the stadium. I mean, he's made the World Championship show a couple times here. He should have won it one year. He could have. And he won a couple World Series titles here at the stadium.
Man, I have not seen a lefty play there. Certainly all this week. He's playing fourth arrow.
Now, Tim Mack will tell you that he's underrated. A lot of people think that Jesper just has that one game, that urethane game, and the power in the same spot. He doesn't move off of it. He just makes that work. It's really not true. He can do a lot.
Strike here on the fill puts Jesper at 576. All 3 in the 10th, EJ 577. So count big here as well for Jesper on the fill. And EJ, another opportunity to double. He did that against Toby Sambueno last round to sneak by 2 pins. He's going to have one more chance here.
It's another thing my son seems to be doing a lot of that, and I notice a lot of kids do it. Put their foot on the ball return, like Belmo and Jesper do. I think we need to start bowling a little faster and not do that as much. Actually, yeah, that's a big shot right here. Well, 8.
Well, made the last shot a little easier for EJ, but he's got to get the first 2 to get there.
You see a lot of people talking to themselves, and it's I talk to a lot of parents who are involved with their kids in the game, and I tell them, this game can drive you crazy, and if you're walking around on the street talking to yourself, you probably are crazy. And bowling makes you do that a lot. Big shot. Well, do or die shot. Boom.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that was with authority. That was aggressive. It was aggressive, and he's going for it. EJ had an amazing World Series. He made the cut in every single event and did not cash in on any of them. And you know that he isn't crazy about that. And remember, the stadium is where EJ led the world championship at the World Series twice. And the first year he lost to Gary Faulkner, and the next year he won over Tom Smallwood, and won his first major, and that's the one where he jumped into his father's arms. And he needs this one, right?
Yep.
Oh, well, he didn't like it from the start. He spun it up and just didn't like it. Didn't have the same approach, didn't have the same release at the following. Okay, so EJ goes to the losers bracket. Jesper, undefeated.
Jesper has advanced. Thomas Larson, 705 to 657, also into the final 4 of the winners bracket. Sam Cooley up 444 to 370. That's another winners bracket match. And then we also have Spencer Robarge and Zeke Bate. Spencer up 427 to 342 as I get toward the back half of the game. Some other matches that have wrapped up so far. These are from the elimination bracket. Chris Vi defeats Kim Bullaby 662 to 651. Kyle Troop moving on once again. 643, 597 win against Mitch Hoope. Francois Lavoie, 656 to 592 over Toby Sambueno.
Well, Sterner is Prather's going to need one of those timeouts. He might need to go to the. It seems like he is not going to have a chance to beat Sterner here. At least through the first 5 frames, Sterner's got them all.
Big 10th frame coming up here for Tim Foy Jr. And carries the light mixer. Michael Fitzgerald shot 171. And that strike is going to give Tim Foy the victory.
What a year Tim Foy's had. He finished 6th in the East region for the Players Championship, and then when Bill O'Neill could not come to the finals, to regional finals due to COVID, I remember calling Tim Foy and saying, "Can you get down to Florida? And you need to be here by the morning." And he did it, and he got there, and he made that show. And then what happened to him? In the first match, he faced Chris Vi, and Chris Vi shot 300. So he had absolutely no chance to win. And then you see him get here and what he did with Belmo and how he's continuing on. And he's another one that's got a little bit of a destiny situation going for him.
Tim did get a little redemption on Chris here at the Masters, sending him to the elimination bracket, but both players still fighting along here. So take a look at AJ Chapman and Jason Belmonte.
What's the score in that one again?
Belmonte. No, I had it right the first time. Yeah. Belmonte, there we go. 391 to 368, the advantage heading into this game.
Well, longer he hangs around, the more his name just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger on that bracket board. Usually when you lose your first match, you think the road back to the finals is too much, but I don't think anything's really too much for this guy.
Another match wrapped up. Anthony Simonson defeating Nathan Bohr. So Simon moving on to the next round. Yeah, Prather looking in rough shape here. It looks like his run at the Masters will be coming to a close here in the next couple of frames. Jason Sterner in control of that match. So Belmo maintaining his lead here, was up 23. These guys essentially even here for game 3. So for Belmo, just the need to close out these final few frames.
Who would he face next? The loser of...
Good question. Let's take a quick look. Looks like Jason Sterner. Assuming he goes on to win that match against Chris Prather, Belmonte Sterner would be up next.
And Belmo is very good at gauging the scoring pace and then gearing his game for that. I mean, and then he reduces his risk reward just enough, he's a good strategic player. I mean, has the most experience of anybody now bowling in important matches, and it's interesting to watch his decision making based on what he figures he's going to need. I think he thought he needed a lot to make the cut originally, and so you saw him move in and use a bigger ball. I think because he was thinking, I got to string him. I can't just try to hold the pocket and make spares. And so he does that. And then right now you can see that he thinks I just have to fill frames, and this is what I'm going to need in this match. And more direct with urethane. The amount of strategy in bowling is really unbelievable. And you always wonder if you're leaving something on the table. I mean, would I have shot so much higher if I just would have done one other thing? And you just have to always, once you make your decision, commit to it. And because if you make a decision that you're second guessing while you're throwing the ball, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it really is something that's kind of lost. I mean, Bill O'Neill mentioned it last night. He said, the reason why Belmo's so good is because he's so good strategically, and nobody in the history of the Masters has ever been as successful as Belmo has in navigating these matches. And I'm sure part of it is players know that he can change a pair pretty quickly, whether he's throwing urethane or whether he's throwing reactive, and you have to deal with that. But the other thing about it is that he's Belmo, so he wins a lot of matches just because people, are thinking they have to bowl perfectly to beat him.
Yeah, I always, Walter Ray was another one where you'd say, well, wait a second, it's a one-on-one match, it's 3 games. You kind of go in thinking, well, can I spring the upset here? Is it possible? They like to say, you don't have to beat the field in this tournament. You have to beat, one person, and being able to control that kind of strategic thinking is, you think it still would blow up on you half the time because it's well, he knew that was the dagger, and that's his new move. It's kind of like his new wrestling move where he points to the ground and says, "You're vanquished." But when he starts running around doing that, that means he's sensing that he can get there. So it's really interesting.
Well, he stays alive once again. What did Mark Twain say, Tom? The reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, that's right.
Spencer Robarge has locked up his match against Zeke Baton. So Spencer and Jesper.
They were a doubles team at the PBA Junior. We did a fun little pro-am thing.
And now they are going to face off to determine who's going to earn a spot on TV, a guaranteed spot.
Wow.
Lane 61 and 62 for that matchup.
I think Spencer bowled a little better than Jesper in that doubles event that we did.
Man, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's you still think of Jesper as the future, but when you're bowling against a kid who's, what's Jesper now, 27, 26, 25, 6, 7?
I mean, when Simonson won this tournament just a few years back, I thought that was a record that would never fall, but it could fall.
Yeah, he was 19, right?
Yeah.
Well, no one's ever had more 300 games than Spencer Robarge at this age. No one's probably had almost any of the accomplishments that he has at this age. So he's kind of like when you think about golf and think about how Tiger had everything, ahead of pace of any other person his age by the time he turned pro. And Spencer's kind of like that. He's done it all. I mean, and he did it at every age, right? Didn't he win junior gold when he was like 12? And but the 12 and under division.
12 and under, yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's just it's pretty scary. He probably, I think he's the type of kid too where I think if you talk to him, he'd say he just really isn't bowling that good.
It feels like he's almost a pro already. The way he answers questions, the way he handles himself, his demeanor on lanes. It almost feels like he's ready for the PBA Tour now. And with Belmonte wrapping up that match, let's get over to the Chris Barnes, Sam Cooley match.
Another update, Michael Holloman is going to eliminate A.J. Johnson and move on to the next round.
I just grabbed Spencer as he walked by, and because I wanted to ask him, how are you bowling? Congratulations, but how are you bowling? And he said, you know what? I really don't know. I'm trying to survive, and I'm just trying to, take advantage of this opportunity. I love being here, and I'm just taking it one at a time. So it sounds like he's right in the moment. But anyway, back to Barnesy.
We're going to call upon Matt Cannizzaro to join us for a quick second to speak a little bit about that. Matt, you got a chance to talk to Spencer last night and talk a little bit about him just taking a look at the bracket board and kind of visualizing things moving forward.
Well, first thing, just getting to watch these young players grow up and mature. We've seen Spencer, as you mentioned already, from the U12, a couple of team titles at USA Bowling. You don't know that you're talking to an 18-year-old high school senior, especially when analyzing the bowling game and talking about the things that are happening out there. JT did catch him kind of just staring at the blackboard, and when I asked him about it, it was exactly that. It was trying to visualize the path that it would take. What happens if I win here? What happens if I lose here? Where do I go? And how do I prepare for each one of these matches? And you, of course, don't want to think too far down the road, but you want to have an idea as well. And, everybody handles that situation differently and looking at, the bigger picture and, of course, the task at hand. And I'm looking forward to hearing some more of that. Some great analysis. Again, as I mentioned, Spencer said that in his second match yesterday, being up 100 pins going into game 3, that was an opportunity to try some things, to do things that maybe didn't happen throughout the first couple matches or even in qualifying, to get the best arsenal of options heading into the second day of match play, because you have to be prepared. You don't know who you're going to bowl. You don't know how they're going to bowl. And now with the matchup of a pair of left-handers, that might even change the game even more. So, let's hear from Spencer himself and hear, the mindset coming in, and now a big task coming up next.
That is correct. Welcome in, Spencer Robarsh. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Matt had referenced the matchup coming up next. Jesper Svensson, your wins so far have been against right-handers. So this is your first matchup in the bracket against a left-hander, and one heck of one in Jesper as well. So, for you real quick, just as far as kind of the strategy looking ahead to that, how much do you think that's going to change with Jesper joining you on the left side?
I'm not completely sure yet. I do know that he's playing further right than I am. I'm trying to play closer to about, 5, 6, 7 where I'm standing. The ball's crossing closer to, 5, 6, 7 on this last match and 8, 9, 10 at some of the others. So I'll probably have to play further left and try to just stay on my own area and let him do his thing. And, hopefully I break him down a little better than he does.
Spencer, you were carrying Jesper during the PBA Junior show.
Yeah, he didn't have the greatest look during that.
But did you get to know him that week and get to know him as a bowler and as a person and what did you take away from that?
A lot of positivity. You know, we had our practice session before the singles match, and he was down there with us practicing a little bit, and I just kind of got to see his mindset, see his process, understand how he does it, and you know, it definitely. When I went home from that, I definitely took it and tried to learn from it as much as possible. So, but that I also feel like that might be an advantage because now I understand how he plays the game a little bit more. So I understand more, you know, to a better degree what I'm going to see in this next match.
Well, if I know a guy that's as great as Jesper, he didn't teach you everything he knows. He's going to hold some of that back.
Spencer, before we let you get ready for that match coming up next, just tell us, how fun has this week been for you so far? You've made your moves, you qualified well, you won some matches, and here you are in the top 4. Just talk about this as an experience for you.
This is unbelievable. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that I would get to this point. You know, I just wanted to get out here and get a check, you know, because I'm bowling the U.S. Open and the Masters. So I just wanted to get my entry fee back. And I've done that plus a little bit more. So, but on the same token, you know, the deed is not done yet. The one thing that I was really looking at the bracket for today is if I was to lose this next match, I believe I'm directly into the top 4 shootout. So I'm going to have another chance to make the show. So that was kind of my process coming in, was I wanted to get those first 2 matches today and set myself up for potentially making the show for Sunday. But, you know, I'm not out here trying to win tournaments. I'm going to try as right now, but, you know, if I don't, it's a great week, and I get to bowl next week too. So we'll try to make a run in this wonderful bowling palace.
Well, your study of the bracket is correct. If that were to happen, you would be seated directly into that 4-player for 3 spots match a little bit later today. But we'll let you go ahead and get prepared. But just phenomenal. It's been so fun to watch, Spencer, and best of luck in your next match here.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for what you do for bowling.
Thanks, Spence.
I think our future's in good hands here.
I would agree 100% with you, Tom.
I can't. I'm trying to remember when I was 18. You got to be kidding me.
Absolutely, and that is the end of our last match.
All right. Hey, thanks for letting me come by, and I'll keep watching and doing a great job. This is a great tournament to watch like this too. Anybody that's got subscriptions to these services, I know it pays. I mean, it pays for the year. I mean, it's just great stuff. So appreciate what you guys are doing, and you're hustling like crazy to make sure everybody can watch every match, all the big matches, and so it'll be exciting today when it gets down to that four people for 3 spots match too. Thanks a lot. Thanks
Absolutely.
Again.
Thank you, Tom. We appreciate it. And with that, we have wrapped up the excitement here. So let's run down the bracket. For this next round, it's going to be coming up at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So about an hour and a half from now, we got about 90 minutes. So we are going to have a re-oil. You see the Kegel Flex out there. Kegel, the official lane maintenance provider here of the Masters, USBC short and long duration events, the PWBA Tour as well. So in the winner's bracket, and folks, the winner of these matches will have a spot on TV. So we'll have the winner of the left side of the bracket, the winner of the right side of the bracket. Spencer Robarge, the 18-year-old phenom, will be taking on Jesper Svensson on lane 61 and 62. So unbelievable matchup. On the other side, Thomas Larson, who has just been lights out, taking on Sam Cooley, who's been on one heck of a run. So those are your top 4. So 2 of those players, either Sam or Thomas, and then Spencer or Jesper, going to have their spot on the TV show. The winners of those matches will bowl a match to determine the top overall seed. In the elimination bracket, we will have Francois Lavoie taking on Anthony Simonson. Heck of a matchup right there. Kyle Troop versus Chris Vi. Michael Holloman taking on Tim Foy Jr. And then Jason Belmonte against Jason Sterner. So that is our lineup, folks. Coming up to the next round, once again, about 90 minutes from now. But it's been so fun. It's been so exciting, crazy, all that stuff. We're going to go back to full screen here. Matt, 90 minutes, more excitement. This Spencer Robarge story is just unbelievable. They talked about it referencing Anthony Simonson winning this event in 19 and really thinking that was something that may never be touched. And here is Spencer, one win away from being on TV and having the potential to break that record.
Well, we saw the year kick off, of course, at the PWBA with Jillian Martin doing her thing. We've watched Simonson grow up under the TV lights. So I don't know that anybody's surprised, especially with the run that Spencer has been on for the last 6 years, right? He's been on just about every youth TV show that's possible and it had so much success. So, again, we heard from him. Doesn't sound like an 18-year-old. We had Norm Duke on earlier this week and saw him a lot, and he had success at that same age. So it's just been a lot of fun, and the youthful enthusiasm and just being out there to have fun. I think that's awesome. There's no pressure. Spencer's not trying to pay the mortgage at this point. So he's just out there bowling, getting experience, having a great time. I look forward to seeing this next match with Jesper, who's again, a tremendous talent. And we didn't mention him much earlier in the week, but probably should have.
Yeah, he's been kind of, we talked about kind of flying under the radar this week, and he's just been, doing nothing too crazy in his wins, but has continued to get the job done. A close match there, that last effort against E.J. Tackett. And, you got to get those breaks along the way as well. So Jesper, Spencer, Matt, for a left-hander, you got to be chomping at the bit to watch that match.
Oh, 100%. And again, you mentioned the dynamic there is that, how that's going to come into play, right? Two left-handers matching up. I think we're going to see a high-scoring match, to be honest. I think this is where it's going to take a number to get it done. So looking forward to seeing the difference in strategy there. And, of course, overall, the international representation here just goes to show, again, how our sport spans the globe. And we're looking at a very diverse international TV show, most likely.
All right, folks, we are going to go ahead and sign off and get ready for this next block. Coming up again at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. That's the time. Bowl TV is the station. So a big thanks to the folks who joined us throughout the course of the day. We had Tom Clark, the PBA Tour Commissioner, on there for that last block. Chad Murphy, USBC Executive Director, joining us as well. We had to talk to a few players. So for Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, Matt Canzaro, I'm Aaron Smith. Folks, we'll be back to the USBC Masters here in 2021, just in about 90 minutes. So don't go too far. We'll be back. And by the conclusion of that next stream, I don't think we have any more re-oils the rest of the way out. So it's going to be one long session, but we're going to have our top 5 by the time it's all said and done. So folks, we'll see you soon. Go get some lunch, go get some coffee, whatever you need. This is going to be a great Saturday for bowling. So let's get it. And the place to get it, bowltv.com. So folks, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you soon. And remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you soon, folks.